All right. We're rolling.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening. We're doing it.
Welcome back, everybody, to Ironbeard Yoga Podcast. I got a special guest on today, a wonderful friend of mine, Jason McCann. Did I say that right?
How are we doing? Yeah. We're wonderful friends, but we don't know each other's last names or how to pronounce them. It's like
It's very normal. It's very common.
very casual. We were just discussing. We think we've known each other 15 years or plus, and it's like I could write his last name. I don't think I could pronounce it.
Yeah, that's usually the case. So, you want to set the space here?
Yeah, absolutely. Just before we start, kind of calling attention, and this is something you do in yoga all the time, but we ask that the divine genius and brilliance of nature and life and splendor is communicated and expressed between us respectfully and lovingly, and that we may lend ourselves to the divine work of expanding love and knowledge. Aho.
Hail Odin.
Yeah, well, you could call them the four directions, but I don't have the right feathers, and it's like,
No.
I'm gonna go Protestant grace on this one.
Send it.
Right? I have a subscription. I got can do it a couple ways, but yeah.
So, what's our first topic here? I have a few things in mind, but
Happy to let you start. I'm pretty much just kind of set to go organic. I don't do well with lists. I make them all the time and put them down, and I hardly stick to them. So I'm here for you, man. I'm the guest.
and the funny thing is maybe in a Virgo or whatever you want to call it,
Right?
my analytical brain, but I personally think lists are very important. And
I love them.
yeah, and some people are for them, some people are against them.
It depends on what house the moon is in, I guess. I don't know. Like, I have lists, but it's not always the case where I'm able to go through and actually do them. Sometimes I just make them like, all right, that's the stuff. Put it down and
Yeah,
so check back with it every month. Like, yeah.
I think there's like a little like level of dopamine hit when you like scratch it off, check off the
Yeah.
box and whatnot.
Sometimes I'll do things I've already done on the list. Mm-hmm. And just so I can scratch off the first three, like, whew, those are done. Get some momentum now.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about what you do for work.
Massage therapy. I did physical therapist assistant for about 10 years, maybe, 10 or 15 years. And I got licensed for massage at the same time. I didn't think I could do massage full time just because it takes a while to build up clientele and I just wasn't there in my life. But after doing 10 years of acute and subacute rehab, hip replacements, stroke recovery, I loved it, but I kind of got a little burnt out. I mean, you've worked at the nursing homes. It's tough. It's wonderful. It's home. It's community, but you're also in the nitty gritty of humanity. There's death and shit everywhere. And not everyone's built for that.
No. It's definitely its own environment.
Yeah, but it's beautiful and I loved it. But I got very comfortable, very complacent, and I wanted to see if I could do something else because your time becomes more valuable at that point. You're like, yeah, I could make this much and work this much, but I'm sitting on other things here. And I had a couple of clients, little old ladies in the nursing home, being like, you should be doing something else. You're kind of wasting your time here. I'm like, I'm having fun, Ethel. 10 more. Price is Right's back on. Shh. So back in 2019, October, I quit my job, burned the boats, started doing massage. And I'd been doing massage part-time for the whole time, but it was like weekends or once a week at night.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I went and seen you.
Yeah?
Yeah, the old place.
At the gym, Be Fit?
No,
Or-
I think it was Kilburn or...
Okay, yeah. I was
Yeah.
at Kilburn for a minute. Like,
Yeah.
I had a 3-month lease there, and I canceled after a month and a half. Just 'cause I had some family emergency thing happen. Plus, it was really bad fit. Like, none of the walls connected to the ceiling, so it was like being in a giant cubicle.
Yeah.
So I couldn't make it dark, and I couldn't make it quiet, and you could hear everyone everywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, this is... I mean, I love my office, and I love creating a space, an environment. It's an oasis. Like, you go in that door, and you're transported. You're somewhere different. Like, life and your responsibilities and work... It'll all be there when you get back, but for your hour or 90 minutes, like, I enjoy catering an experience. I enjoy
Absolutely.
it's some people like it, some people don't like it, some people don't get it. And it's not like I have the most elevated taste. So it can be a little
Either or, it's your energy.
right.
And
It is my energy, and it's formed a long way. I mean, I'll have these pictures come up like this date 5 years ago. This is where you at, and it's an empty office with the table in the middle. It's like a sterile environment. I'm like, shit, we've come a long way, baby. And I'm perpetually like updating and improving little things here and there. It's been very piecemeal, but it is kind of authentic and true to me, and it's original, and it's uniquely me, which I love being able to share, love being able to give. And the massage work itself is wonderful. I didn't initially think I was going to do massage. I was just going to go for physical therapy because I'm like, oh, I like the human anatomy. Learning about the phalanges and shit's fun. And my sister's like, oh, they offer 2 courses. A lot of the classes overlap. It'd be easy to do a double major. And I was like, all right. I didn't think I'd like massage. It seemed like a chick job. But in class, I fell in love with it pretty quickly. It's
there's a lot more to it than just...
It's crazy. It's borderline vocation. Like, working at a nursing home's not for everybody. Massage is not for everybody. It's deeply intimate, physical as all get out. Like, I don't mind it, and because I go to yoga, I can keep up for the most part, but it's work. And you're not just up to your elbows digging through muscle, but it's trauma and emotional repression.
Release.
Yeah.
An energy exchange.
The energy and the energy exchange is not something I was ready for or prepared for. I didn't see that coming. That one knocked me on my butt a little bit, just because...
Talk about that a little bit.
It's not something I completely understand at this point. Even though I am certified for Reiki, I understand energy. I work with energy. I've gone to classes for acupressure, which is all working with the meridians and the flow of energy in your body, and I understand the fundamentals. But knowing what fire is and working with fire are very different. So I had to recalibrate what level of fatigue. Like, how does that hit me? It's not all back pain. Some of it's emotional, some of it's psychological. Sometimes people drain you or they fill you up. Like, you'll finish the massage, and while I try to cleanse meaningfully and intentionally in the sink afterwards, like, hey, everything that's not mine or doesn't belong to me, I'm cleansing now, returning with a blessing, like, just trying to cleanse the space. But even with the full shower, it's 2 minutes of washing is good, but after 90 minutes of intense physical contact, it doesn't always cut the mustard. I had one guy, friend of mine, I hope he's a guest on your show sometime, Christian Sullivan. Very intelligent
Yeah,
guy.
we'll get him on here.
Yeah, he's passionate and intelligent, and he's his own animal beast. He had a lifetime pet. 15 years, this dog had seen him through his parents' separation, homelessness, his first company, the fall of his first company, the rise of his... Like, he's an intense dude with a big life, and this little dog was with him the whole way, and then she passed, and seeing him grieve her was... I mean, he grieves as spectacularly as he does everything else, but he came in like maybe a month after or something like that, and he was still heavy in it, and was giving him a massage. We're talking about it, and he was okay. He wasn't like openly weeping on the table. But he left, and I was like, washing up, and I left the bathroom and was like, wow, I'm really sad right now. Like, I want to drop to my knees and weep sad. Like, I had to stop. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Because I'm keeping tabs on my life, and my mom didn't just die. Like, there's nothing in my life right now that would merit this level of sadness. And it was not just like, oh, I'm sad. It was like heartbreak, grief. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh, I was just elbows deep in someone else's worst heartbreak of all time. Like, I didn't realize I was going to pick up on it like that. I didn't think I was going to start feeling the sadness. Mm-hmm. But it was wild. And that was one of the most clear-cut, obvious, in-my-face examples of like, yeah, no, you can't pour yourself into something like that. You can't give yourself fully into a massage and come out the same person. And it was like, I always think like, yeah, well, I'm giving it, and the universe is blah, 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 but there's the other ingredient of the other person. And that's sometimes a wild card because you don't necessarily know what energy they're bringing to the table or what. And while you are there with your mission and your goal and your rituals, just like people's different pain and different approaches, they leave you with different energetic residues. Now, I'm not so confident and experienced to be like, okay, well, that person left me feeling anxious, and that person gave me their fatigue.
Oh, it all depends on your level of that day.
I'm just
where
like, oh,
you're
I'm
at.
neurotic and depressed. That's fine. This is me.
Yeah.
So yeah, the energy is a big one, and I'm still learning. I'm still figuring it out. It's I'm hit.
We all are. We're all students.
I'm hit with new stuff all the time, and it's just I'm also not necessarily always the most analytical, perceptive, and organized, fastidious. Like, okay, Wednesday after this person, I noticed an uptake in my social anxiety.
Sure.
I don't have a flow chart or anything. Just.
And a lot of people, I think, like, just to kind of give them a little information on it, it's that a lot of the trauma, emotions store themselves in the fascia, the muscles.
Yeah. Emotions buried alive never die.
Yeah, the body holds the score.
Yeah,
that's a great book.
That's a good one.
And that basically explains some of it in the sense of holding trauma and storing it. And then when you go and you release it, it's got to go somewhere, and this energy... this woo-woo energy, because a lot of people don't even believe in that stuff, but really that's what's really happening is you're...
I've definitely had to sage smudge my office after some massages. Yeah. And it's like, you weren't a bad person, but you can just feel the heaviness. And it's like, okay, well, clean the slate, start again, because Mrs. Nesbitt's coming in and she doesn't need this.
That's why I sage every day in the studio. And
well, it's got to be a multiple time a day thing now, or I'm getting to that place. And I'm just trying to give energy the understanding and reverence it deserves. It's kind of a big deal, but because you don't see it easily, it's something that can easily slip the mind, or it may not be always in the forefront. Like, did I smudge this room? Like, what is the aura right now? How are we feeling in here, room? Especially the way I schedule, it's back to back to back. So it's like my table's cleaned and set up before they're finished booking for the next session. Like, I kind of churn people in and out, which isn't the greatest, but it's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And I accept and love myself.
Yeah, and you can't focus fully on, like, cleansing the energy. It's running a business still. You still got to
but I want to
move your clientele in and out.
Exactly. And I might just have to incorporate a little bit of sage smudging into the massage. Like, there's some people, I'll give them a sound bath afterwards just because they really, really enjoy it. And that's another thing I'm perpetually learning, is how to meet them where they are for their massage. If it was up to me, they'd all be getting fiercely therapeutic, hard work. I'm going to fix you. But not everyone wants that. Not everyone needs that. Not everyone responds well to that.
Yeah, not everybody can take it.
No.
Yeah,
so,
their pain tolerance very low.
So I'm learning to give a softer, more delicate, gentle massage and not feel like I'm gypping them.
Sure.
It's like, that was just an hour of back tickles. I don't feel right about charging you, but that was what you wanted because that's all you could handle. And it's like, okay.
Well, it's the same thing kind of with yoga in the sense, like, a lot of people want to come in, get their exercise. They want to get a rigorous workout or whatever it is. And then the room isn't really responding well to that. And they're all tired. And like, so we do a gentle flow sometimes. And I feel the same way. I'm like, I want to give you your money's worth.
You're supposed to build the fire, guys. You're all burnt out already.
But yeah, it's just trying to honor each customer the best you can.
And seeing the diversity of the spectrum of work and where yoga meets people, and you find yourself on the mat or off the mat. And I love that, the concept of taking your practice off the mat. And that's all the work. That's yoga. But you wouldn't know that going into it. You're like, oh, no, it's Lululemon pants.
Well, that's just it. And we talked a little bit about that and a couple other things. And even in the last sound healing and whatnot, integration is key. Like, you can do the exercise and that's great, but if you're not taking things into the world and actually making the change off the mat or out of the gym or off the table, whatever, then
you're cutting your practice off at the legs.
Pretty much. The practice is great, but it's like in plant medicine, it's only, I think they consider it 3% of the work. The rest is up to you to to release it and to or to just even recognize it, and then to stop making your changes throughout your day. And
that's something I've been trying to incorporate lately, is checking in with my different bodies, like physical body, how you doing, emotional body, mentally body, spiritual body, like
and they're all in different places
all
every
the time.
day.
Yeah. And it's just, I'm glad I now have the awareness to ask and check in, instead of like, oh, my body's fine, my heart's racing and I'm anxious. I'm like, nah, like just going through a thing or whatever, but to actually just kind of sit and be still and listen and check in with the body. And I think the yoga's given me a lot of tools to work with outside of the practice that are fundamental and instrumental into walking the path and taking charge of your life, owning your shit, and just trying to show up for yourself to the best of your ability instead of getting through, killing time, distracting and wasting, just living the dream.
Yes.
But
just like the 4 agreements, do your best.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same every day, but as long as you tried, then you're not going to be bereft with guilt. Like, oh man, I really could have. It's like, no, you tried. Sadly, that was your best.
And part of that slightly like incorporating or like making changes. Like a lot of people look at like one big change is the key. Like I'm gonna make this move or the change or switch jobs or whatever. Will be different. But in all actuality, it's the 100 challenges or the 100 chances per day.
Slow building that doesn't go away. You get the big changes, which is a spike up and down, and then you have the slow progress, which is ultimately
the baseline of it. Really, like that's the foundation.
That's the universe interplay. I mean, you see nature, and it doesn't always work in big instantaneous boom boom. It's like, no, it's slow growth, it's slow progress, but it's lasting. It's meaningful. It's been tested by time. You do the same little thing 100 days, and it doesn't need to feel like a big thing anymore because you've done it so long. It's become its big thing. Like with the consistency and the effort of practice, and you are a shining example of that. I'm grateful for the witness I get to bear in watching you practice, and you're very disciplined and organized and structured, and I really admire that about you. Like I'll be walking down the hall and I hear you playing violin. It's like, good for him. I should practice something.
Thanks, man.
It's cool. I appreciate you doing the work. Not all of us are there at this point, and we'll get there. But it's like, it's the consistency. It's like
the power of consistency. I'm a big believer.
It's huge, and I'm learning it, but the painful way. It's like. Consistency is not one of my natural virtues, and I'm a little bit spontaneous and sporadic, but I'm learning the value of it. I'm in April, I think I'll have been in this office 3 years, and that's a long time. It's the longest I've been with the business because before then we hit COVID and I was shut down for like a year and a half, and then it was starting up in this office and canceled and start up in this office. So it's been a rocky start, but now that I've been here for almost 3 years and I'm getting time under my belt and consistency, and it's like, all right, well, I've been able to gain a different perspective, vantage point of my business, where it's going, what it is, what I want to last, what I don't want to last, what's sustainable, what isn't. It's like, all right, well, now we know.
Absolutely, yeah. But learning the beast, learning the machine.
Unfortunately, the beast is me. It's like, dick. It's like, ow. I was supposed to be the good guy in this story.
Yeah, that's funny when that changes and you start rooting for the bad guy.
Well, just
certain level of
holding space for the bad guy and acknowledging that he exists and that he has a place. It's like no trees, branches extended in heaven that roots don't reach into hell. And it's like, all right.
Good one.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I comfort myself with because it's on the volatility of the frequency. I was watching one thing once, and I don't know how much stock I'm putting into this, but it was an interesting thought. And they're like, when you have a sine wave, it's very slow, very up and down, but if you want to hit the middle section, if that's where you want to be, you notice the more violent and quick the up and downs, the more time is spent on the center line, and you actually kind of cross the center line more times. You gain that balance in the diametric opposition of the constant up and downs. And it's like, all right, I don't know if I can necessarily take that and run with it all the way to the bank, but it did make me feel better for the volatility of my own manic spurts and creative upheavals, and then desolation of just holding back. I cloister up a lot. I'm very much like a hermit, and I kind of love it. But I'm not producing much. I have nothing for the world to see or to show.
That's okay though. Like that downtime, solitude.
It's necessary, but
rest.
I'm overcoming hustle culture. I'm overcoming that narrative of, You need to be working. You need to be doing something. What do you mean you have no social media presence? How long does it take to boot and put on a hashtag stretch? Like,
going back to the whole energy thing, like that's in its own realm, really, and I don't think a lot of people realize like that's a whole topic in itself.
Yeah, that's
like putting yourself out there and just the energy that goes into that.
Right.
Yeah, that's something I struggle with too. Like I cringe when I have to post, or
right.
even if it's just things that I post all the time,
sure.
it's still like going on there, open up that gateway of
right.
negativity,
right.
and
you don't know how it's going to disperse your energy. I mean, there might be a way to kind of separate yourself from your creation. I don't know, because once you put it out there in the world, people do with it what they want. They'll receive it how they want. It's like,
oh, right, and then going into energy as far as like negative thoughts or jealousy or even the good stuff, though, it's still once again like this weird energy exchange that I don't think has really even been hit on too much or talked about too much.
I don't think we understand it as much.
Yeah,
I don't
think
that. People understand or would say that massage is an energetically, what's the word I'm looking for?
Energy exchange.
Yeah, but I want to say like volatile or vulnerable. I don't think we realize how the vulnerability of massage, because I mean, one of the things I love so much is I'm creating a safe space for these people where they can be exposed. Usually, sometimes they're fully naked. I mean, you get a little drop sheet on them, but how many people in your life do you get fully naked for and then just lay down and then let them touch you all over your body?
It's intense.
No one does that. Not your wife, not your priest, not your barber. Like, pick the people you trust and love the most. Would you let them rub you naked? Like, it's... And here I am, a stranger, and it's like, they're giving me this trust, and it's sacred. I love that. It's like being in the confessional, but I'm not there to judge their actions. I'm here to soothe and ease their body, and their body is a lot of emotional actions or reactions. Like, we don't live in a society where it's appropriate to fly off the handle, happy, sad, or angry. So that gets compressed somewhere, that gets restrained or
stored.
Yeah. And then sometimes while I'm massaging, it'll get released. Someone will get really angry or really sad that's disproportionate to what we're experiencing. And it's like, obvious emotional release. It's not always obvious, and it's not always emotional. Sometimes it's energetic and stuff, and I'm kind of learning how to be a ghostbuster in my own office. Like, okay, like, where did that one leave here? Or just kind of being able to refresh and cleanse and center and ground and keep my sanctuary where it's safe, so I can invite the next person and be like, hey, you're safe here. Because
that's everything.
It is everything when people are that vulnerable.
Absolutely.
And not for nothing, my prices are very competitive and reasonable, but it's expensive. Like, you're paying someone $100 to hurt you, to help you feel better. It's like, there's a lot of expectation that I am happy to rise to. It's like, no, this is a very niche, tough job, and I feel as though I have the corresponding virtues and talents for such an odd confluence of events. Like, yeah, I can be there and discuss things with you that are deeply personal, deeply shameful, frustrating.
It's funny how it mirrors so much of like the work that I do. Yes,
well, it's same bodies, different. Like, I mean, like they said, yoga's only 1/3 of it. I don't know if it's and I'm curious because yoga addresses the body, it addresses the breathing, the spirit, the mind. Like, yoga does kind of influence all the bodies we have, but yet it's not diet, which is super important. It's not. Where else? What were the other two that you would think of? Like, if yoga is the 1/3, what are the other two? Diet, sleep, social, prayer,
resting. Yeah. Like you said, it kind of covers meditation, breath work. I mean, it affects every single system of the body, like, significantly. But yeah, I think a lot of it is maybe could be another third would be like the inner work that we do, our resting, our evaluating of ourselves or taking note, or like you said, just kind of checking in and seeing where you're at, and or doing the actual work that's going to be like, well, how can I release this? How can I get over this? How can I, overcome?
What's the game plan?
Yeah.
We've got the challenges.
Because a lot of people, I think, don't even have that capacity or ability to even check in with themselves and or do something about it.
Right, recognize the challenges as challenges instead of just, I'm a victim, life sucks.
Yeah, and or, they don't even realize that they're walking around every day just coping and just barely getting by. And
that's been a fun part of my journey, is the peeling back of layers. Like, as I get healthier, realizing how unhealthy I've been, it's like making progress sometimes feels like you're going backwards just because you get the diagnosis, oh, you've been sick. It's like, oh, great, now I'm sick. I wasn't before. No, you were. We just didn't know. But now we know you're sick. We can start working on getting you better. But it sucks when you're feeling fine. You didn't realize all the red lights were going off. It's like, but you have to be grateful for every part of the journey, the setbacks. And
why do you think that is? Why do you feel I want to talk about that a little bit, like in the sense of, why do you think, at least in America, like, why are so many people disconnected?
I don't understand. Okay, so I'm going to go about this in a roundabout way, which is what I do, and I love that about me.
We got time.
So you get the source, the Big Bang, the creation of all things, and it just ejaculated all of life and everything we know it. And there's single threads that connect us to that source. We are emanating forth from it. We are it expressing itself and discovering itself and understanding itself in life. So our eyes are kind of feeding back to the universal consciousness, which means our attention and our focus is kind of our divine contribution. What are we contributing? What are we building? Where attention goes, energy flows. So you got this God energy. What are we looking at? Apple, Grapple.
Amazon.
TikTok. It's like,
oh yeah, that too.
Anything and everything aside from turning it inwards and filling up our own cup. It's what is out here that can fill me up.
External.
I need my Starbucks. I want to pet a puppy. I want to be validated and entertained and stimulated, and then confront or consoled when I'm bored and overstimulated, oversaturated. And I'm like numb. I want that to go away. It's like it's the wanting. It never ends. The ego only knows how to want and to be unsatisfied. And they're in the market, America's in the market of, we hear your dissatisfaction and we've given you a plethora of distractions and engagements and things you can put your time and effort into that don't necessarily amount to anything, but left to your own devices, what was your intention and energy going to be left to amount to anyway? Unless it's conscientiously focused and directed and invested, it kind of just disperses. So, I mean, they're not bad guys for giving us shit to look at. They're bad guys for not telling us and teaching us and remind us how important our looking is. And it's like, give us more wholesome shit to look at.
I think a lot of it is a trap, the Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
And I talk about that constantly. And yeah, you can call it conspiracy theory or whatever, but in reality, our social constructs and everything is built around distraction, like you said, and we celebrate all these things. You get rewarded for, like you said, posting and getting your likes and getting your dopamine hits. And
it's our phones are like little
prisons.
Slot machines.
Yes.
It's all dings and beeps and bright lights, and it's like even the little red icon above the email. It's like, okay, I got to go in and do something to get that gone. That's my reward, is to get rid of that little red dot.
Ooh, who's trying to get in touch with me?
Yeah, and it's the little dopamine hits, and you're becoming wildly addicted to dopamine without even realizing it.
And looking for external fixation as opposed to going, like you said, inward, sitting with yourself and starting to discover actually who you are.
And learning how to channel that energy, because we've got this energy that's welling up inside of us. And yeah, the world will provide us with opportunities to invest it, expel it. So we have this well of energy within us, like and there's things that we can set on that well. Like, you can deepen that well, you can allow that well to get deeper, but it is perpetually, there's a spring and it's refilling. But when you start getting full of energy, it's not comfortable. you start getting antsy, you want to do something, like it's naturally there to help motivate and drive us, but with no destination, goal, or tools, means by which to apply it, it gets weird. You start just, unfortunately, and I only learned this recently, and it was a bit frustrating, but just because you're retaining energy and you're storing energy and building energy doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be applied healthfully, organically by your body. Your body doesn't instinctively or intuitively know how to integrate all this energy.
Especially if you have blockages.
Yeah.
And that's like
That's a big one.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a big one.
So you can't fill into it sometimes if it's all out of whack and rotation.
You're trying to elevate it, work it into the body, and you got these leaks or these blockages, and it's like, nah. And then the energy works against you. All this energy you've amassed and you're trying to contribute or to direct.
It's got to go somewhere.
It's got to go somewhere, and it's like, oh shit, you've made yourself a time bomb rather than a wellspring. Like, and it's a rough journey, but I mean, we're getting there.
And let's talk a little bit about that, like how some people can remove a little bit of these blockages. I feel one way is absolutely like massage, body work, tuning into yourself through yoga.
Yes, tuning in through yourself through yoga and meditation, I would say, are huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Massage is a wonderful auxiliary. It does address...
They're all tools.
They're all tools. I don't think there's one panacea fix-all, like, oh, all you got to do is stand on a speaker and play this song, so you're fine. That'd be awesome.
It'll help. That'd be great.
It's not going to hurt. It may not fix your father issues.
And I feel like all of them are gateways as well. Like one can lead to some sort of awareness into the other, and they can feed into each other. Although they all complement each other in a sense.
But all those little rivulets kind of beating into form the larger stream, and that's a really cool part of walking the path, is the universality of it. And even though we're all in different places and on different aspects and different times and different chapters, we're all on the same path.
Yeah.
And we're all affecting each other.
Goes back to that whole like walking the path, like you said, and making the right choices throughout the day,
but the path is so perfect and complete that we don't realize that even when we're making the wrong choices, there is good coming from it. I have seen this firsthand in observing you observe me. We're two brothers walking the path, and I fall down. I don't just fall down, I roll down the hill and fall into shit. And I'm like, ah, shit. Now, as my brother walking the path, there's several ways you could have responded. You could be like, well, don't know that guy, I'm going to keep on walking. Or, look at that asshole, he's covered in shit, let's throw rocks at him. Or, what you have done, which makes me admire you so much, is you wait patiently, help me up. You're like, ready to keep walking the path? I'm like, yeah, but I'm covered in shit, and I smell now, and people don't want to be like, yeah, you're fine, you're my brother, it's going to happen. And we keep walking. It's like, that shows me what part of the path is of being merciful, patient, forgiving, non-judgmental. These are things that I think I'm fine at because I've been forgiving, I've been merciful, I'm not rarely the bad guy who has to be forgiven, but there are times when life mercifully says, okay, you're the bad guy today. And it's like, oh, shit, now I can't look down on people. That was kind of my forte. But I get to see other people shine and come forth of like, well, they were a lot more understanding than I think I would have been. Or they were way more patient than I deserved or would have given. Like, there's an expression I have from my childhood that I don't think I'll ever let it go because it's so good. But God writes straight with crooked lines. It's like, it doesn't matter. It does matter. But what you're contributing, even if it's your best, or usually hopefully it is your best, even when it's not, God can bring, or life, the genius of nature can bring about better from it. Like,
sure.
God doesn't allow something bad to happen unless he can bring something better from it. It's like, yeah, we fail. We fail 7 times a day. The Bible says the just man falls 7 times a day. And it's like, well, to err is human, and to forgive is divine. So we have this innate, built-in system, fail-safe, where we have 7 opportunities to forgive ourselves every day. Never mind all the other people. And all of a sudden, with this practice of forgiveness and unconditional love, you build up that divine presence of that unstoppable, continuous, God gives mercy, he gives chances, he gives love, or he gives grace. And when you don't give that, when you don't cooperate with that grace, he gives you mercy. Like, those are his two big things. He's not sitting there doling out punishment. Fucking up and falling into the shit is punishment enough. The aftermath of dealing with yourself covered in shit is punishment. It's not going to beat with a stick because you failed. It's like,
well,
no.
There's a lot of lessons to be learned in humility and like humbling ourselves.
Patience, yeah.
And it, like you said, not everything bad is actually bad. There's
that was and that's a frustrating mindfuck.
And there's always lessons that we can learn, and even some of like the deepest wounds that I've had have ultimately changed me in the sense metabolically, physically, mentally, spiritually. And I'm thankful for all those instances in the sense.
Absolutely.
The challenges.
You can't judge the bad things as bad things because you don't really know.
And unfortunately, there's almost no growth to be had even in like conquering success and like the good times. Like it's usually always during like the pain, like going to the gym in the sense.
Right. Like, leaning into the suck. So the well and the wellspring within us, it's like in diametric opposition. We're only ever going to feel as much joy equal to the level of sadness and pain we've allowed ourselves to feel.
Yes.
And a lot of us don't want to feel sad or in pain, so we'll numb, we'll fill it, we'll distract, and all of a sudden, I don't feel good, I'm not happy. It's like, you're not happy because you haven't allowed yourself to feel unhappy. And unhappy isn't evil.
And once again, a lot of people don't understand that, where they feel like they have to cope out of that, or they'll like abuse alcohol or drugs,
or they feel like they're wrong for being sad or upset, or
they feel defeated. They're not really
there's no benefit in feeling defeated. It's like, if you sit with it long enough, it actually turns into amazing fodder.
Exactly. And that's basically what shadow work is for the most part, leaning into the suck,
just trying to look at the spots about you and yourself that you don't want to look at, seeing yourself as others see you, seeing yourself, taking stock of, okay, how have I been responding? How have I been treating people? Let's do an audit on myself. And,
absolutely,
And then, but not giving up, not becoming defeated, not getting discouraged, being like, okay, well.
Or not letting that drive.
Right. Well, just using it to feed into the fire of unconditional love. This is what unconditional love looks like. I now have to deal with this from this person. I now have to deal with this from myself. Would have preferred that wasn't a thing, but unconditional love, like we're just it all has its place. It all has its reason. There can be good from it. Try not to judge it as bad, evil, or shit right away, because you're limiting your ability to use it, to transform it. It's like
alchemize it.
Yeah. You've been given this thing for a specific reason. You may not even know what that reason is yet, but you want to engage in it to the degree where you potentially find a reason. You want to be open to it and its capacity of like, okay, what am I supposed to be seeing here? What am I supposed to be learning? How is this supposed to... I don't see the benefit. I don't see the way out. This just all feels like garbage shit.
I have bad luck. Shit keeps happening to me. Right. I don't know why this keeps happening to me.
Because that gypsy woman, I know it. Instead of keeping it as material for growth or for fuel, and just being... Einstein said, he's like, I don't think I'm particularly smarter than most people. I just sit with problems a lot longer than most are willing to. It's like, sitting in that discomfort of everything's not okay at the moment. You have this really uncomfortable feeling or this frustration, and to not try to soothe it and numb it as quickly as possible, but to just let it, to breathe into it. Mm-hmm. Like in yoga, and I learned this from you, you get into these positions and you want to invite breath into it. You're breathing in that prana, that life, that consciousness, that awareness. You're in this new pose in this area of your body you've never been in, and now you're inviting consciousness into it to kind of heal it, and it softens and it's easier. And it's like, it's the same thing with stress and frustration of, this isn't where I want to be, this isn't who I want to be. Let's sit here for a moment and breathe God into it, breathe prana, give it light. We are the light bringing into the darkness. We're stars shining in the chaos. It's like, the light is consciousness, it's love. And right now we're shining in some very dark niche areas that haven't seen the sunlight for a while, and I'm the universe solving that.
And kind of like to run off that just a pinch, a lot of people don't realize how many times Einstein failed and had to like falter in the sense, and we only get to see his greatness in a couple instances, but yet the thousands of times that it took to get there, as opposed to letting it defeat him, he kept running with it.
Absolutely.
And it was like,
our job as humans isn't to succeed, it's to keep trying regardless of how many times we fail. God is that, and I'm sorry I'm talking about God a lot. It's just
it's all right.
kind of central to where I'm coming from. But it's that
only the old gods here.
So Thor, the thing with Thor, it's that potency of life underneath the ground, underneath the soil, that undimitable force of growing. Like, it doesn't matter how many times you kill it, there's always that sprout. It's like that trickle of life. No matter how weak it is, it just doesn't stop. I can't remember what you just said that got me there. I'm so sorry.
No.
But
it's kind of like the metaphor of it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. It's a matter of how many times you keep getting up.
Exactly. And I would love to see in paper somewhere how many technological or humanitarian advancements were made from A, successes, and B, failures. How many discoveries and advanced leaps in science we've made from a mistake.
I think it was Edison that said, I never failed. I only learned 10,000 ways how to not do the thing.
Right, exactly. And I would say within those 10,000 times, he learned how to do other things.
Exactly. So it's not a failure.
Yeah.
It's part of the process.
Exactly. You've got a rough narrative of, here's the goal, this is what success looks like, good luck. And by the way, you can't attain it. But that's what being a human's about, so have fun. It's like...
Yeah, that's like saying, like, me opening up the business, and it was just like a massive success right off the bat. Right. And it just blew up. And I can't imagine how many lessons I would have not learned with that. So I would much rather have it being tough and struggle.
Instead of having these gaps within your experience.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what it's like to start up a business and fail, so there's an entire group of millionaires you're now not on the same level with because you were an instant success. Like, yeah, again, how much are you going to be able to enjoy that not having earned it from the sweat of your brow? There is a direct correlation of how much you suffered for something, equating the enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
It's like why women are so bonded to their babies. It's like, yeah, they just birthed it. Like, that was one of the most traumatic experiences of the mother's life, not to mention the flood of all the oxytocin and dopamine and, like, bonding hormones. Like, that kid was an investment. They suffered more for this thing than anything in their life. Like, it gives this baby value, which is great because in the months to come, the kid's going to add more value to that whole no sleep, not eating. Like, it's just... there's a reason that as children we're so difficult to manage. It's like, yeah, it just kind of trauma bonds the parents with the kid.
Truly. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Families all just trauma bond.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. Well, there's a place for everything.
There's so much to run on with that. Oh my God. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good spin.
Trying to figure out what to do with it next. How do we heal this? Family is the perfect opportunity to learn unconditional love because they're the worst human beings that you're stuck with for life, that you have to love. And it's not like, oh, my family's worse. All families are made of people, and people are the worst. And normally when people start getting crap, you're like, okay, well, done. Not going to talk to that guy anymore. Or you're too crazy. Family you can't really cut off. I mean, you shouldn't, you can, but...
Well, it's the people that we're closest to. You're going to see the darkest, the most
and it's the
traumatic things.
But it's not just us. That's everywhere.
Everyone.
All the time.
Right.
And this family's just your little sneak peek into here's what society really looks like, because now you're behind closed doors, but behind all these other closed doors, also human. I mean, we're made of mud, and
I think that's what plays a lot, like, to kind of switch gears a little bit, it plays a lot in the sense of having a really good relationship with a spouse or a partner or whatnot, or even a friend.
Yeah.
But it's ultimately, you're going to see the darkest sides of them. You're going to trigger the darkest sides of them, and you're going to see the worst of each other.
Yeah.
And that can obviously either make or break the relationship, whatever capacity that is.
love wins, but it's how much are you willing to endure for love to win?
Yeah.
Or are you going to let it defeat you and be like, eh?
And it kind of goes into the whole duality of like the light and the dark. Like I said, like we're talking about, and like we all contain this. We all have shadow. We all have work to do.
Yeah.
There's nobody out there that's perfect. There's no such thing. We're all perfect the way we are.
Exactly, because this is where that perfection is. This is the crucible where we're discovering that perfection or building it from scratch. I mean, it's like we're all rocks in a tumbler, and through our altercations and faux pas and discomforts, we learn to soften and become smoother, and we get polished. But it's like the rocks in the tumbler cursing the motor that spins. And it's like, that thing's evil. That thing's constantly causing trouble. We'd all be fine if we just didn't spin. It's like, yeah, but we're in a rock tumbler. The whole point is to spin and become shiny. So you can't use the devil as a complete scapegoat of like, this is all his fault. This is all his problem. It's like, no, it's the way this game is set up. It only works if you're failing, and not just everyone else, you as well. You need to learn the metal you're made of, or not. Turns out you're not solid gold. It's like, oh.
And that's the whole power behind it, right? To not succumb to it,
right?
And to basically understand the process, the fire,
and to be able to own what you have and work with it, rather than waiting until you're a better version of yourself or a better thing. It's like, no, you
absolutely
got to show up as you are, as humbling as that may be, because that's the only way you're going to make real and lasting progress, honest progress. I mean, we have this weird dichotomy with social media where you can project this version of yourself like, oh, I'm very affluent and I go on trips and I don't have problems and clowns don't scare me. And it's like, yeah, it's not real. But we've done that to ourselves, like, oh, this is who I am and this is my story, my narrative, and don't look over there. That's not really me.
Don't peek behind the curtain.
There's nothing back there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just coming to peace with your own shadow and not judging yourself for it. I'm not to the place where they're like, incorporate it. Use your shadow. Lean into your shadow. I'm like, I don't know how that looks. I don't know how that works. Like,
it's that unconditional love, loving yourself as you are and knowing that you are complete and maybe you have things to work on. Yeah, sure, we all do, right? But to not hate the shadow because it is part of yourself.
Sure. And just for discussion's sake, let's say I have a compulsion to murder people. I can forgive and understand and accept myself, but how am I supposed to incorporate this compulsion to murder people? Like, how do you take something that is seemingly so evil, so unnatural, inordinate, trauma-based, whatever, like...
Become an executioner.
Maybe. And I had the thought, I'm like, move to Texas, and I'll just work the chairlift.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. There's something for everybody.
I don't care what he did.
Yeah, right.
Maybe, I don't know, man. I mean, that's...
But I do agree, yeah. I mean, well, I think ultimately every living creature on this earth has the innate ability to understand kind of what's right and wrong. And
I would like to think so.
I think there are some individuals that are heavily, I mean, they're victims too.
It's mental health. If you have no social empathy, that's a huge disadvantage. Even if you're brilliant, you know how to make it work for you.
Yeah. And some of that book that I read about the molecule of more, they kind of go into that slightly as far as like the chemical imbalance that these people have.
Yeah.
And on a cellular metabolic level, they are jacked up.
Right.
And
they have no mitochondria, guys. Powerhouse of the cell, they just don't have one.
Yeah, and it's sad, but it's a kind of an eye-opener in the sense of like how we're all very unique in that sense, and some need a lot of work.
Yeah,
a lot of work.
Sure, or divine intervention. I mean,
all sorts of intervention.
It's fascinating. I mean, I like to sit on the thoughts of like as above, so below, as within, so without. We're all microcosms of the macrocosms. Like, is my direct consciousness and involvement in my own body and my health corresponding with the universe at large? And if so, what is Jupiter's storm saying about me? Am I not addressing something? What did I do to put Trump into office? I love me.
It's funny.
It is funny, and you have to laugh because as much as we're intelligent and well read and whatever, the spectrum of reality which we are able to perceive is a fraction. Like as far as all the waves,
super small.
There's so much sound and light happening right now around us that we're completely oblivious to, and it's like, oh, that's
because the human eye only captures a very narrow band.
Butterflies see more than us.
Yeah,
there's a lot of animals that see and hear more, and I'm not just talking like, oh,
who knows?
Basically,
who knows what's out there?
Sure, there's some colors you haven't seen. There might be some beings and entities you don't understand yet.
Yes, energy, frequency. It's
egregors.
Yeah. What is that?
An egregor is a consciousness. It's its own entity that is fed by everyone else's belief system. So Santa Claus is an egregor.
Gotcha.
There's rules it lives by.
That's how magic is
kind of
wielded to some degree.
It's something you're creating that then exists outside yourself that you can either feed into or have to fight and destroy. But it's like, yeah, there are these concepts that are completely alien to us that we are subject to. It's like, just because you don't understand barometric pressure doesn't mean you're not going to get wet. It's like, yeah, you can try to learn about this shit because you are subject to it. You are living in this world with these powers that be.
Look at the moon.
Oh, God. Every night. Every night.
How much it affects the human psyche, body, the oceans, the whole world.
I made a joke about what house the moon was in, but I've looked at my phone a few times. I'm like, okay, I am in a way. What house? The moon is in Aries. Okay, noted. Like,
yeah.
I hate to blame all of my shortcomings on the position of the moon, but at the same point in time, I am very susceptible to these changes and drastic energetic shifts. I'm like, okay, what's happening?
I love when there's so many like non-believers in that, and like I said, how much more evidence do you need when it lifts the entire ocean up?
Right. Now people are just, I don't know for sure. I'm going to project and judge foolishly. I would say that people don't want to be held accountable for themselves, their own existence within the world, so they take on the severely materialistic viewpoint of, I can't sense it or see it, I don't believe in it, and I only believe in the real shit. And it's like,
or they'll just straight up blame Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
And
you get the ends of the spectrum. It's like, do you want to say that nothing matters and you can be a complete asshole and it's fine because you make enough money? Or you want to say like, oh, I am powerless because of my star positions and I have no free will. It's like somewhere in between there, but matter does matter, but not as much as you think, and you are being affected by stuff, but maybe not as much as you want to believe. And in the middle is that Buddha of equanimity, where which is, it was funny because not nearly as much of the stuff we're talking about is our responsibility to fix or address, rather than just sit with an experience. You don't need to redirect your homicidal rampages. Just sit with them and breathe in them and breathe the prana, welcome it in. Maybe that's what it needs, is that light of consciousness and understanding and love.
Even just bringing awareness to something is
right. Just shining the light on it. Yeah. It may affect you in ways that you're not aware of that will correspond and manifest themselves in ways that you may not pick up on. Like, oh, sitting with my shadow and breathing light in it. It's not like that shadow is gone, but without knowing it, I now interact with these people differently. Or I've stopped believing this lie about myself, and therefore those self-sabotaging behaviors that corresponded and supported that belief system start to peter out. And I'm not even aware that I've dropped that self-sabotaging belief. It just kind of evaporated when I brought in the consciousness and the love. And it's not something you're necessarily going to miss right away, but all of a sudden you're like, wow, I have a lot of extra money. Where did that come from? It's like, well, you've stopped compulsively buying nips, or you're not gambling as much, or you're not going out of your way to buy stupid shit you don't need so that you'll feel money stressed all the time. It's like, it's kind of weird, the complexity of the interplay that goes on that we're just unaware of. I mean, most of us go around day to day responding and reacting rather than having any consciousness of where am I going, what am I doing, how am I showing up, what am I bringing, how do I want...
Why am I doing it?
Right, the why. I love the why. Why is huge.
And that's part of the matrix, right? Yeah. Like, to keep us in that lulled state of unconsciousness, and we're just kind of working for the man, building the empire, not even realizing we are actually the cause, effect, or the cog in the machine.
The divine creation participant. It's like...
partly that can play into the magic side of it too, keeping people on a certain wavelength, getting everybody on board with a certain topic.
If you can have everyone feed your egregor that you built, you've just recruited an army to feed into this empire you're trying to build. That may or may not consider them. I mean, it considers them as food, as fuel, but yeah,
energetically, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think he even says that in The Matrix, where he's like holding the battery and he's like, this is what they want.
Right.
You are the battery.
Yeah.
And
you're a stream and a spring of divine consciousness, which is incredibly powerful, but we're not using it at its full capacity. We're not using it to create, at least not consciously, and what we are creating isn't even it's for somebody else. We've sold away our rights to create because we wanted to be distracted. We wanted to have fun. We wanted to be entertained.
Convenience comes at a high cost.
Crazy high. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't even realize the admission they're walking in with. They don't realize the value of their life, the value of their attention.
Their time.
Yeah. I mean, if we knew the value of our attention and time, Netflix wouldn't be a thing. And video games wouldn't be a thing. But because we're creatures of leisure, and leisure has its place. Play has its place. They're necessary. You can't be all work, all hustle all the time. You burn out.
Right. And we're not saying like Netflix and video gaming is evil and bad. It's just...
It's a tool that can be misused, as all tools can.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure, and I don't want to speak too much, but I feel like there isn't anything that couldn't be used for evil or for bad. Like... There's nothing that's truly, inherently, intrinsically good in this life. Like, no, anyone who touches it is good. Like, it's like, so much of it depends. Intention. Why?
Everything. Intention's everything.
Why were you doing with what? But, good stuff. Good stuff. Powerful. So, aside from reading and yoga, I mean, you meditate, you do plant medicines. I mean, what other ways do you recommend or encourage people to kind of bring in that consciousness, that prana? Like,
well, you nailed it in the sense of reading, meditation, yoga, physical activity, moving the energy physically. Music is a very powerful, not only meditation, but escape. It fires up neurons in the brain that normally can't be fired almost any other way.
Wow.
Yeah, it kind of lights up the brain in so many aspects because you're not only the listener, but you're the creator,
right?
And you're critiquing, and it's a send and receive type thing.
So cool.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. There was a great TED Talk on that specifically.
I think I've talked with Christian about the neuroplasticity and the neurosynapses that are more formed during any other time than or more than any other time than when you're learning something and struggling, when you're learning to play an instrument and messing up, and you're like, that was when your brain is like 100% growing. Because when you're practicing, you got it. You're not being challenged. You're not having to meet it there. But apparently, like, in the struggle is where your brain grows the most. And I imagine it's probably not even just the brain.
Just like exercise.
Yeah.
Just like the gym,
exactly.
Right?
It's just the way this life is built.
Yeah.
You have to...
Well, the caterpillar has to die.
Right.
It literally has to die, metamorphosis into a whole nother being. So it sucks.
After it disintegrates into
goo. Right, and that's basically us in the sense.
And here we are judging ourselves on the path of the caterpillar and be like, I'm gluttonous. I just can't keep eating like this. This is unsustainable. Who am I? It's like, don't worry, just keep eating, buddy. You'll get there.
Yeah, eat your feelings.
Right. They'll be gone soon enough.
I think one of the biggest things, though, we hit on briefly is knowledge of self and just bringing awareness to you are responsible for at some point in your life, like usually at a young age, but like you are responsible for your path. You are responsible for your shortcomings. No one can block you or stop you or get in the way of your dreams like you. Or a lot of, I don't want to assume, but I mean, like, how many people sit down and actually ask themselves, like, what is truly going to make me happy? Is this job making me happy? Am I being fulfilled?
Right.
And a lot of that
I think
plays a big role,
Yeah.
like in awakening to the self and your own bullshit.
Yep.
Realizing like I have to take charge at some point, and if I want to do, I'm either gonna do it or I'm not. Like,
Excuse me. Yeah, it's the owning responsibility for yourself and just not passing the buck or having excuses and just
and not running,
right.
and which most society's doing. They're coping. People are working 60 hours, and yeah, I get it, to survive. But at some point, you have to you have to ask, like, is Netflix and this and the PS5 and all that, like, what exactly am I working towards?
Right.
What am I working
what am I building
for?
here?
And it comes with a lot of the audit, like you said, just going and evaluating yourself.
And I feel like there's a pressure and a frustration and confusion, because then you're met with, am I meant to fix this or am I meant to accept this? I'll love it. I'll give it all the love I can, but how much of this is my responsibility to change, grow, adapt? How much of this is just me?
I think a lot of it is through acceptance, is fixing it in the sense where if you do start to accept it, learn to lean into unconditional love and realize, like, kind of that we already are perfect.
Right.
Everything's exactly the way it's supposed to be. Big time. Big time. That's been one of my biggest struggles, honestly.
Yeah.
And just like anything else, it's a practice where we have to practice this daily in different situations, circumstances.
The work of a lifetime, yeah.
The work of a lifetime. It doesn't end. And
right.
I think that in itself can scare a lot of people, where they're like, what do you mean? Like,
right.
I got to do this for the rest of my life?
And then some. There's no guarantee that the work stops after you're dead. You might continue to continue.
We have no idea. This, as some would say, this is just the beginning. This is stage one, of the video game.
Getting posed for how you're going to dive into the cosmos.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, a lot of it is accepting that it's okay to fail. It's okay to not be perfect, because, like, those are expectations of ourselves.
Right.
But if we, like you said, like, how do I fix this? I think a lot of it does come by giving yourself the grace and understanding and love towards yourself that, you know what? Things are going to be fine. Let me make this tiny little change here and see where it leads tomorrow.
And that's the huge thing, is the tiny little improvements, the 1%.
Yeah.
It's like those are more likely to endure rather than the 50%. I'm going to move.
Absolutely.
Change everything and it's going to be all better. It's like,
kind of odd. What do you call
analogy?
it? Yeah, a very odd analogy would be in the sense of, like, a sniper, where, like, you're looking through the scope and you... super, super fine movement here is feet or yards on the other side, if not in, like, hundreds of feet.
It's terrifying when you're like a boat or something that's on a course and you're off by 2 clicks. Like, in how many, whatever distance you want, that's only going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. It's crazy that those micro movements, but it's also encouraging. It's like, you don't have to change everything at once. You can just 2 clicks to the right. And
that's great to even mention that, in the sense, like, where we don't have to make these huge changes.
Right.
It's just even the tiniest little thing can set you on an entirely different course.
And a big thing I struggle with in this analogy is the destination. You have to have a goal of where you're going. You can be sailing in a ship, but if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. And just a matter of...
And that may change.
I guess, yeah.
But if you don't ever get in the boat, then you're never going to reach any destination.
You need to acknowledge that you're in a boat. Yeah. You have to come to terms with the fact that you're in a boat before you can start steering or pick a destination.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of people are in fear of change. Sure. They don't want to get in the boat. They don't want to...
take responsibility for the direction of their life.
They're happy on land. Yeah. They're happy right where they're at. They're content. And
there's a certain... profound beauty and majesty and contentness. It's like...
Absolutely.
I feel like sometimes when people are really, really unconscious, they may not be functioning as in perfect balance as animals who are purely instinctual, but the animals, there's a perfect balance within nature there. And I feel like I'd like to comfort myself. And it's like with people who are unconscious, they still fit into the balance. Even if they're not progressing or whatever, it's like there's an interplay. Maybe they're assisting the people who are. It's very complex, and it's fun and beautiful to think about. But
I think that partly might fall into, like, unconditional joy, where if you're happy, provided you're not beating yourself up, and even that, like, that's your journey, that's your path, that's your contract.
Sure.
So if that's what you do and you're finding
that's
happiness,
what you're having to heal.
as long as you're not hurting others, then I guess there's really almost no wrong in the sense. But if you're unhappy,
right
now then the questions need to start happening.
Yeah, you got to look at the recipe if it's coming out as unhappiness. And I've been a big proponent of peace. Like, peace is your superpower. Peace is the goal. That's the whole seek the kingdom of heaven within you first, and everything else will be granted.
Peace is huge.
Peace is kind of the name of the game. Peace is the destination and the journey. Like, you're not going to get to peace outside of peace. You got to stay on peace the whole way. And it's fun because peace is something you kind of create. You can find it. You can give it or receive it, but sometimes you have to make it from scratch. And we have that ability. We as creators, we as divine potential, have the ability to be like, this situation's not hitting me the want to. I'm going to come to peace with it. And I mean, there's certain level of denial or distraction. I mean, there's real peace and then there's fake peace. But I would say even in pursuing fake peace, you're going to get closer to real peace than...
Fake it till you make it.
Kinda, at least. You're in the same ballpark rather than I just want to be numb or I want to be out distracted, like, or I'm going to revel in my aggression and my agitation because I get all this cortisone and it feels it's a high, it's a rush. So now I just go around and yell at strangers or troll on the internet to get these hits of... You don't want peace. You want to be on the edge. You want to live life.
Yeah. And it's funny, too, because through my discipline, I even kind of use that. I kind of say in the sense of, like, I built myself for war in the sense because there's going to be so many outside sources. Everything's going to fight that peace. That it's hard to keep the peace in the sense. And so I find a lot of that through my disciplines, my practices especially.
Right.
Specifically the gym, yoga, meditation, like forging my body and my nervous system so the outside world can't tap into it.
Sure.
As best as I can allow.
Yeah.
Like,
no. That's... And I'm sure there's, like with the leaning into the suck, is the boredom and the repetition and the redundancy of practice, but it just adds to that stability. It becomes unbreakable because you've pushed through the I don't want to go to the gym. You've pushed through the my fingers hurt, I'm not in the mood. Like, my
muscles are sore. Yeah, I'm tired.
That pain, that investment, this baby that you're giving birth to is you, and it's how much of the pain are you going to lean into to create yourself to the best of your abilities. And I would say peace is a really good aim and destination of keep aiming for peace, and the things that you're going to have to overcome to keep and maintain it will get you there faster than I want to be rich or I want to be popular. And you start doing things to get rich and popular that may not feed your mass potential. It's like, I want to be popular, start working out. Yes, exercise is good and your body being fit is good, but you're not using it in the right way. Instead of using it as to build up your own defense and center my energy versus your energy, you're like, no, this is all energies where I want your energy, I need mine. You're like, you're not playing to it as well as you could. So you're pursuing things that are...
You're not tapping into the full potential.
Right, exactly. You may be hitting good marks along the way, but you're not...
Which is good in some aspect. I mean...
Better than nothing. It's better than like, I don't know what I want. I'm not going to try anything.
Netflix it is.
Netflix and heroin. It gets me through.
Oh, shit. No, yeah, these are good topics.
I love
good topics.
And then a blessing for me, a blessing for us, is the proximity of someone who's fixed and determined to walk the path. There are not many people who in their lives are like, yeah, this is the goal. I want to achieve enlightenment. I want to transcend, and I'm going to put everything else aside unless it's that isn't that, and everything that I do in my life, I'm going to put towards that. I'm practicing music to develop my brain, to improve my meditation, to ascend better. I want the neural pathways throughout my body to be connected and working. Like, not many individuals have that, and then we have almost a community of it. I mean, granted, we don't talk that much, but when we do, it's poignant. It's we both have a singular goal, shared egregor in mind, and it's human realization.
Ascension.
Yes, the actualization of our own divine natures. the living into. It's like, yeah, man has the spark of the divine. It's like, well, where I'm going to blow on that little spark. I'm going to feed it. I want to be God, because man's fine. It's great. It's awesome. But I want to be God. But the fact is that God is being our God, our personal expression of the divine is being forged in the crucible of overcoming your humanity and forgiving yourself 7 times a day and forgiving your brother 70 times, 7 times. And getting up and doing the monotonous carry water, chop wood, and somewhere in the middle of it all, through those tiny mosaic pieces that are all annoying, you start to see this bigger, beautiful, steadfast picture. It's like, yeah, this is bigger than me, and it's kind of cool to create something that's bigger than you. And as it goes for me, often something I didn't even realize I was building. I'm like, hey, Lord, help me, guide me, direct me. I'm going to do my best and keep working. I don't know where I'm going. Don't know what I'm supposed to do. It's beyond me. It's beyond my pay grade. I'm just going to do what's set before me to the best of my ability for you. And every once in a while, I get to turn around and look down the mountain. It's like, ooh, wow, I've made progress. I'm building something. God's building something, but he's using me to build it, and I don't know what it is yet, but I'm excited. And it's just cool to be part of that project rather than trying to build my own thing. Like, no, I know best. I'm going to build my dream home, and it's like I'm building a sandcastle. It's like...
It's funny because even climbing the mountain, if you set that expectation of yourself of like, I just need to reach the top and this and that, you're kind of losing the whole point of the whole journey, the whole path.
And you get to the top and you're like, now what? It's like, well, if you climbed it meaningfully, you'd know what.
Or if that doesn't happen, then you're like, oh, I'm a failure, or I'm not living up to my promise to myself or my expectations. And
there's also the weird unspoken agreement we all have of like, oh, then you'll be complete, then you'll find success, then you'll be done happily ever after.
Which we already are.
We are, and there's no the end.
Yeah,
you're never going to get to a point where like, and I'm done.
And that's where I think we hit on that a little bit, where we externalize all this happiness and, well, when this happens, then I'll be happy, or when I get this partner, or when I get my new job or pay raise, then I'll be happier, as opposed to being like, I could be happy right now. It's not going to come from an outside source.
Happiness is a decision, not a condition. Mm-hmm. It's something you choose to bring, which is another thing we create, which is awesome. I mean, if you think about what humans create, happiness, peace, and time. We make time for shit. You don't find time, you make it.
Truly. Yeah.
So it's... they don't feel like the most... monumental divine aspects. It's not like we can say mountain, but we can create with our words, and we could create a mountain.
Very powerfully.
Not instantly, but yes. Dude, our words are so powerful. I one time took stevia. No, not stevia. Is that the drug? No, that's the sweetener. What's the drug?
Little cream in the coffee.
Yeah, right? Not enough. Some drug, some hallucinogenic. It was a quick little high, but it was... What is it? Doesn't matter.
Plant medicine.
Plant medicine that I was using recreationally because I am a child. But in my trip, I was transported to this cave. It was like dark, and every noise is like that in that movie Fantasia from Disney, the where you could see the sound waves, and it's a bright color, and every noise you make, I could see it in this darkness. It was like
the actual wave.
Yes, but it was like, in the silence and in the darkness, it was perfect. And every contribution was kind of disruptive and chaos. And I'm like, oh, I want to stop talking. I want to be as still and as quiet as possible because I'm not contributing value at this point. I'm just splashing around like a child making noise in this divine picture of existence. And it's like, I came to the realization, like, if we realized how powerful our words were, not just to mention breaking the silence, disrupting the air with our noise, but actual words, creative. It's like, we'd be too terrified to move, never mind speak. The ignorance we have, that the limited perception of what we can smell, see, taste, and sound, that's a mercy. Because if we understood everything, we'd be...
chaos.
We'd be too terrified. We'd be ants in someone else's house. Like, I think we'd be paralyzed, and it's only our ignorance that allows us to participate. But luckily we got the grace of knowledge and understanding, so we can now start to participate more meaningfully and conscientiously rather than just reaction and compulsion.
Sure.
But yeah, words.
It's the first agreement. Be impeccable with your word.
And impeccable comes from the word peccatoris, sin. It's to be without sin in your word. Like, don't try to keep it as clean and as pure and as true.
Intention.
Yes.
What's your intention?
Why are you saying what you're saying?
Right. Are you just saying it because you're auto-programmed?
Or it's been quiet too long and I need to make a noise. There's the analogy of, I think it's an Asian Oriental thingy of the three gates when you speak something. Is it necessary? Is it true? Is it kind? Or something like that. It's like, if you're going to contribute, run it through some filters. Like,
because it's frequency.
Yeah.
It's actual frequency, and how you put it out there is going to have...
What are you creating? Like the dark magic.
Creation, exactly.
That black magic of saying something snarky and sarcastic under your breath. It's like, you don't know the damage you just caused.
Yeah.
You wounded that person, and now they're going to respond to their spouse differently. Now they're going to teach the kids differently. Like, you might think, oh, I don't matter to them. I'm not really part of their lives. Like, you don't need to be. You don't know how you affect people's lives, and that's terrifying because... I've definitely made enough of a mess for myself. I try to put as much good out into the world as you can, and the good is stronger than the bad, but we don't see the consequences.
It's a battlefield.
It is a battlefield.
It's a literal war.
Messy.
Yeah.
Messy. Even when you look as fabulous as we do. These beards ain't just for attracting mates.
Yeah, that fascinating study with just the plants, where one person, you talk negative to the plant, and then you talk kind to the other one, and it blooms and grows, and the other one withers.
There's several sciences that based on that. You got the Dr. Kenzei Morito or whatever, who says energy has memory, and it contains water has energy and memory, and you can project that onto the water, and that's when the rice molds or the plant dies. But then you have another step further with sentience or consciousness of a being, where you can talk to the plant and it will respond to you. There's an energetic understanding. There was some test, I don't remember what it was called, it's like Schumann, whatever, but they put up little biofeedback resonance things on a plant, and I don't know if they spoke to it or they just thought, like, I'm going to cut you down, like, we're going to cut you, and the plant responded with like a stress spike, like, and like
they're listening.
It could perceive the intention, and I think maybe plants, because they don't have ears, where they feel the energy of the intention. It's like, yeah, that's why when you sing to your plants or talk to them,
just because they don't have ears,
right?
They hear.
Corn has ears, but it never listens.
But yeah, like, that's why some people play Mozart for their plants, and
I'm sure the frequencies and dynamic of the music of the Mozart has a part to play, but I'm sure the intention of the people saying, I'm playing this music because I want you to grow better, also affects the plants.
Absolutely.
It's like,
intention.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Intention is huge.
And not for nothing, when you're on, like, mushrooms, you can dial in to some of that frequency a little bit with the plants and the trees.
Right.
And you hear them talking almost like it's...
You're tapping into the nature's internet, and you're like, okay, this is a different interface than I'm used to.
Yeah.
I'm just dissolving, but yet part of everything, which is powerful. You can't dissolve, be mixed in with all of reality, and then come back the same person. It's like, no, you carried a bit too much, even if you don't remember.
Oh, it's like once you plug in, like you said, it's life-changing.
It is life-changing.
It'll give you a whole new face perspective. And
I am a promoter of mushrooms. I promote them to everyone. I'm like, if you can. And I'm like, don't just take them for fun, but if you could find someone who will guide you. Like, I got to take a guided ceremony with a guy. It was just me and him, and we took the heroic dose. So I took the heroic dose. Like, there was ego dissolve, and it's kind of a specific process to get there and to get there safely, because you can have a bad trip. But we had a little altar set up with intentions. He was there holding space. Like, it was done in ceremony, and it was...
And right, intention again.
Intention, dude.
Why are you taking it? Are you partying?
Right.
Are you
having fun?
You're going in.
Yeah. And you want to be open to the medicine, because it knows what you need more than you do. You might think, I'm angry about this, or I want to forgive this. It's like, yeah, it's not even a real problem. That's the surface thing.
Absolutely.
The nature sinks down underneath. You're like, oh man. I had never realized that, or it just, I don't know. One of the powerful things it does is
moves energy.
Moves energy. I didn't even think of that one, which is great. But just helps you with your own mortality. It really takes a lot of the sting out of death.
Ego death.
Well, yeah, you die and you realize you keep going, but it just kind of...
No, but like the fears and all the things that associated with it.
Softens that a lot.
That whole bad, low vibe frequency.
Right. Death equals bad. It's like, no, man, death equals nature. Death equals life. I remember thinking I was given this kind of revelation or this paradigm on death, and it was like, yeah, dude, do you know how unnatural and weird it would be if you didn't die? Like, you'd have this entire glorious story all unfolding, and you're not part of it. You've been withheld. Like, it would segregate you out of all of life. It's like, nah, man, death is a part of the cycle. It's a rite of passage. It's as natural as you losing your baby teeth. It's as natural as taking a dump. Like, it's just this cyclical, rhythmic flow of life. I mean, we see how the universe moves, and it's spiral. And it's like, yeah, death is a very natural part of that spiral. And
you can't have life without it. Like, it's the like, yin and yang, right?
I mean, just kind of, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it what is it? When you have two things that are in opposition and you bring them together and there's a conflict resolution, it kind of resolved the conflict of death. It just put it in a new perspective, in a paradigm of like, no, it's appropriate, it's natural, it's fine, it's good. It'd be weird and bad if it didn't. Like, think about that. Like, what if you did live for? I'm like, oh no, that'd be. That's not what I want.
600 years of paying taxes.
Right. Yeah. I'm fine with the 78 I've got.
Yeah, that's good. So, you were just mentioning the path of peace.
Yeah.
And
the discouragement I feel of having that motivation to set a goal and to work towards where I want to be, and half the time I don't know what it is. I don't know what happiness and peace looks like, and the things that I'm pursuing in order to get them often pull me from it. So there's this nebulous goal of peace. It's like, well, I don't know what's going to make me happy. I don't have my life figured out. I don't know myself inside and out so intrinsically well that I'm like, this is where I'm going to find the most satisfaction. And then being able to create and orchestrate that by myself is impossible. The few times I have been given the grace of achieving a goal, it often isn't what I really wanted. It doesn't satisfy. And like we were talking during the break, you end up you're getting more out of the pursuit of it anyway. Even if you're not getting addicted to the pursuit and that dopamine of what's next, you still, a certain level of drive, a certain level of hunger is necessary in order to keep you moving. If you're perfectly content.
Oh, there is that healthy level of dopamine.
We have that driving urge to always want to climb the next mountain. It just, you got to kind of change the narrative so when you do climb the mountain, it's not, okay, now what? I'm done. It didn't satisfy. It's like, well, why are you climbing the mountain?
And how we decided to talk about this was through like intention setting.
Yeah.
So sometimes we don't always know what our intentions are, and it's okay to like have it broad or change the intention constantly. Which I find myself doing. Like, we don't know. Like, even with the plant medicine, sitting down with that, like, intentions change all the time, or whatever it have you, ceremony.
As you do the work and you get the development, you're able to gain a better view of the broader picture. And it's like, oh, my intentions were limited. They were my best intentions for where I was at that time, but now that I'm somewhere different and I have more whatever, I can change and adjust those intentions or those goals because I'm not in the same place, I'm not the same person, no longer being driven by the same things.
Sure. And what do they say? What's the saying? Hell is paved
with good intentions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not always something that's going to serve you or...
Yeah, I had a project I was so excited about. I wanted to make an app, and I was very proud of this app, and I thought it was so good, and it was all this kind of look at me contribute, look how wonderful it was
how smart I am.
Right. It was saturated in kind of selfish arrogance and naivete, and it's like it's a blessing that a lot of the shit we work for doesn't come to fruition, because it's like the place you were in when you started building it, and the reasons why you started building it aren't great.
It's how we're chasing our dopamine, right? I mean,
or just the fact of trying to stimulate dopamine. It's like part of me is on the kick right now of just kind of trying to find that appropriate balance of passiveness with the universe. I don't want to be a dead fish, and I don't want to just do nothing, but I also don't want to think and act like it's all on me and I have to keep the world turning. It's like, no, sufficient of the day is the journey therein. Like, you don't have to do it all right now, and you telling the universe, you telling nature, like, hey, I'm ready to fight today, I'm up for it. It will provide you the challenges, and maybe not the ones you want, maybe not the ones you need. Or
usually always the ones we don't want.
Yeah, and it's always the ones we need. And it's like, oh, I don't think I've got a problem with this. And they're like, that's why we're doing it. Yes, you do.
And thus, this comes the path of peace, right? I mean, in the sense where you say, like,
trust.
Where you're looking for in the end result, the end goal is just to trying to find peace,
right,
in our own hearts and minds.
Peace is both the pathway and the destination. And it's a complete path, a perfect path, as they say. Like, if you patience hath a perfect work, it's like in practicing and mastering patience, you will check all the other boxes. You can reach ascension just by focusing on patience. Happiness is the same way. I think peace is the same way. There's these golden values. Like, you're not going to achieve true peace incorrectly. You can't get there by backstabbing and undercutting. Like, you can't cheat, rob, and steal your way to peace. But you can find and achieve peace even if you've been robbed, stabbed, and manipulated. Like, it's something that it transcends. It's you get your human virtues and your divine virtues, and sitting with and fostering those divine virtues in you really help with a lot of the human stuff of. Yeah, you build up that unshakable happiness, that unconditional joy.
And then you protect it too, where if someone starts disrupting that, yeah, exactly, that's where the war comes in. And it's rarely ever intentional or malicious when someone comes and bristles up against your peace or your happiness. They're just projecting their own internal state, and they're afraid, they're angry, they're stressed. So they're going to try to get you angry, stressed, and afraid not because they want you to be, but because that's what they're communicating. That's what they have inside. That's what they are.
That's where they are. That's where they want you to be, because people want to be understood. We want to resonate. Every time I say something, it's because I want to get on the same page with you. But if I'm in distress and me trying to get you on the same page with me, it's like, no, that's where your peace and your happiness has the chance to uplift me rather than letting me destroy yours. And you can't force your peace on me. I can either be like, oh, well, he's really bringing that grounding presence, or he doesn't get it. I need to go figure out someone else.
And it's funny how a lot of people project their negative energy. What is it? Misery loves company, right? So to help justify their feelings and actions, they want to spread that onto you.
Well,
so
that's if they're even aware of what they're feeling or thinking.
Right.
They always say, like, think good thoughts. I think you might have said something on this recently, and I can't remember if it was a post or what, but it's almost like people can read your thoughts, and the thoughts you hold in your mind every day affect the facial expressions. They affect the way you think, the way you speak, they affect the way people
Your body's listening.
Yeah, your body's listening, and people are picking up on it even if they don't know it. Even if they're not like, wonder what that guy's thinking. They see the energy in your face, like, oh, I don't want to mess with that guy.
Yeah.
And that's...
It's contagious.
It is contagious. It's what you're projecting. It's what you're just kind of...
Emitting, in the sense, your frequency.
Yeah, dude.
Field.
And that's why it's so important and powerful to... Your entire sphere of influence is just you. You can control your frequency and what you emit. After that, you have no control. But maintaining that peace, that happiness, regardless of what you're being attacked with, that's the battlefront. And it's not... demons, it's your best friend, it's your family, it's the people you're in traffic, and it's the way to victory is keeping the peace, holding on to that peace, even if they're emitting total chaos. You can see it, you can offer up some good intentions their way, but you're not going to bring them out of it by meeting them in it.
You can sit with them in it.
Sure.
Keep them company, but...
Entrainment, hopefully lift them out of it. You get that pulse going of your piece, and they're chaotic, sporadic. It's like eventually, hopefully, if you sit long enough, you sync up.
And that's partly what plays into the whole discussion we had right in the beginning, where it's an energy exchange especially when you're opening up and you're vulnerable, and if you're not armoring up in the sense of like just making sure you're protecting your energy,
right?
Then people can have a major impact and influence.
Yeah.
Especially your husband, your wife, your spouse, the people who are in your inner circle.
Yeah.
They're going to feel it the most because they're constantly around
Exposure.
So,
it's consistent.
Yeah, exactly. So watch your energy, people.
Absolutely. Be mindful of it.
Mindful of it.
And if you don't like where it's at, sit with it. And ask yourself why you don't like it. What's it trying to teach you? Just let it speak. Anger, her name is sadness.
The dark side.
It is the dark. It's only the dark side until you bring the light to it, and then it's just more space.
Yeah. More capacity.
Right.
Yeah.
You cleaned out the basement, and yet now you've got a functional game room. So that's where we go to play.
I love your analogies. So good.
Nature speaks in parallels and analogies. I heard that the other day, and I loved it. It just opened up the entire natural world like a book. Now, granted, I've been kind of reading nature like that anyway, but I thought, I don't know, I was being special or creative. It's like, no, that's just how nature speaks. The ways that trees grow is similar to the way that rivers flow, that lightning strikes, that our brains grow, that our vessels travel. Like, you see parallels in nature all the time, and it's awesome. And Einstein had said, like, if you want to understand everything better, just study nature more deeply. And that's completely true.
Absolutely.
And you can stare at a tree and just break it down and start getting revelations about yourself and how you work. Just because it's in theory and in practice existing in front of you.
Well, I love that picture that like you see all the time, like with the tree roots and the nervous system.
Yes.
It's completely identical.
Or the spirals.
Yeah.
You get like the sunflower, a pineapple, the Milky Way, a baby's head with the crown.
Oh,
it's like,
yeah. The golden...
the golden ratio.
Yeah.
Fibonacci numbers. And math is the language of God and nature, and it's a very pronounced language. It's concrete. Even when you get fractals and irrational numbers and stuff like that, like a lot of it's beyond me. Most of life is, and that's okay. I have my place to fill in my simplicity, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me and my carpentry buddy, we always say math doesn't lie.
It doesn't.
Is what it is.
Yeah, and it's a universal language that everything speaks. And so watch your math. Be conscious of your math.
Absolutely. Kind of go full circle again, right? Like what? So
that is the way that nature moves in circles, baby.
Importance of like massage therapy, moving the energy out. And it feels good. It's great.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, right. Could be a little bit torturous, depending.
It's a little bit like yoga. Sometimes it feels awesome. Sometimes you're working through blockages and stiff, stagnant energy, and your body doesn't want to twist that way. But you breathe into it, you open it, you relax it, and eventually you clear the path. Massage is a little bit like passive yoga, where you are getting a full circulation. I think in an hour of massage, all the chi of the body is completely circulated. It usually takes 24 hours for the energy to move through the entire body.
Just like the blood.
Yep. Unless you're doing yoga or
right.
massage, these speed up the process so you get a full flush. Brings a lot of new oxygen and nutrients to the body. Like all the things that yoga does, massage does, but it's someone doing it to you. So it's like the lazy man's yoga. But it has its purpose and place.
Very restorative, very healing.
Can be. Emotionally as much, too. We are touch dependent as a species. I saw a funny thing on Instagram the other day. They're like, so mammals is based off a mammary gland, so we're the boob suspect, a subclass of creature. They're like, yeah, and the Milky Way and the galaxy is also built on milk based. It's like we're a very Tata forward species. It's all
that's
very
fascinating.
boob centric. Yeah, it was hilarious. But that's part of us as mammals is we're a touch society. We're social. You see apes and they're grooming each other and they're touching, and it's important because herd mentality, herd immune system. As we're talking, we're exchanging microbiomes of our flesh and our GI. Like without even trying, without even touching, we're already exchanging just by sharing the same air and energy fields.
Mm-hmm.
Massage is that much more deeper and intimate, where you're, for lack of a better word, stimulating the energetic flow. Like, you can stimulate it yourself with yoga, breathing, and all that, but then there's also exchanges of socializing, sharing a meal with someone, having a conversation. Massage takes that and incorporates it in, so where you're having this deeply intimate healing process that involves two people. I mean, there's the active and the passive, but you're also actively trying to relax and breathe through it, especially if I get an elbow in a spot and you're like, my dad never hugged me. It's like, it can get heavy real quick.
Absolutely. Especially like you said, either blockages or even muscle cramps or knots and what have you, where you're storing the energy and you may not even know it. And then it sucks at that moment. You're like, yo, this is hurting a little bit. But ultimately you're like opening it and freeing it. So,
and that's my job as the therapist, to kind of guide and help with that release, that transition, much like you do in yoga of, this is uncomfortable, breathe into it, breathe in, settle, relax. Like, you're just kind of leading us to the pain and then guiding us through it. Not like, and you say like, find your edge but don't push yourself over it. That's something I'm still learning in massage, is not everyone wants the full, I want to give the best massage I can, but it's like, true strength is gentleness, is being able to vary the amount of pressure and to do as little amount of pressure possible for the most efficacy. I go in like a bull in a china shop, and I'm going to break you into being better. When ultimately, as a master, it'd be like, I'm going to suggest you get better and do it so surgically that you are able to release and allow it, rather than me forcing your wellness onto you.
And each customer is unique in this sense.
True. Some people are on the same page of like, I'm here to be broken. I need you to break me. And I'm like, awesome. And other people like, I'm fragile and delicate, and I respond better to compassion. And I'm like, well.
And that's what ultimately makes you the master of the job, is really being able to read and meet them right at their level and needs. And it's got nothing to do with us.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
You are part of that equation. As it's like saying your yoga practice has nothing to do with me. It's like, no.
To some level.
You're providing the space and instruction. And in massage, I'm providing the space so that we can access this trauma, this pain. People don't come in for massage because they're feeling great. Usually their back's fucked up, or their neck hurts, or they're experiencing something. And I don't know enough to say, like, every physical ailment has an emotional counterpart. It could. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at your back pain and be like, well, have you talked to your mom recently? What are you really
What happened to you as a child?
What do you, come on. Hey.
What about, like, the detox aspects of it scientifically, like with the fascia and the acid release of the muscles?
I try to tell people to hydrate as much as possible. We've knocked all this shit out. It's in the bloodstream. You want to make sure you have enough fluids to purge it, to sweat it out, to whatever. Just because if you don't, it settles back in. Sometimes worse. It's like you've shaken up the etch-a-sketch of your body, and all the sand is loose, and like you want to clean it out. Otherwise, it's just gonna resettle and recake and I can't make you healthy. I can assist you in living a healthier life, but people want to come in for a massage and then go back home to 8 hours of Netflix with no hydration, no stretching, no exercise, and it's like, I'm not even helping at this point. I'm facilitating.
Just moving it.
Yeah. Well, they're like, my back hurts. I'm like, your back hurts because your pec is too tight. Now, you don't want me touching your pecs because it's entirely painful and vulnerable, but your pecs are so tight that they're overextending and pulling in your back, and you want me to rub your back to relax those muscles. Why? So they can become even more overextended and pulled because we didn't address the pec. And people are like, oh, my back hurts, and I'm doing their pec. They're like, oh, that's not where the pain is. I'm like, yes, I understand. And I'd love to go to your job and tell you how to do your work too, but it's actually all connected. And I try to give examples and teach them like, no, it's rarely ever where the pain is. That's the symptom.
Effect.
That's the symptom, not the cause.
Right.
Whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, the antagonist muscles usually are the culprits sometimes.
Right. It's like taking a cough suppressant when you have a cold. It's like, you're covering a symptom. You're not addressing the problem.
And that's partly why I do the work in yoga where I'm strengthening a lot, in the sense of like where most classes are a lot of openers and they're releasing, but at the same time you're kind of just going back to the same body mechanics and So strengthening the antagonist muscles or opening the hams to help the back. All these little things.
It's all connected, man. It's all connected.
Absolutely.
There was a story or reference in the Bible that I feel as though correlates with this. And it's like, and I can't remember the exact one, but it's like, if you have a house full of people that you don't like, you get rid of them and you clean the house, and then you fill it with people you do want. Because if you don't, all the people you don't want are going to come back with friends. Like, you can't just...
To your clean house.
It's like using sage to smudge a room. Sage doesn't just clear out only bad. It clears out everything. You have to reinvite the good back in. Otherwise, you've created a vacuum, and whatever's there will fill it back in. So it's just another step of mindfulness in the process of like, okay, no, I don't have to just work out. I actually have to stretch after and hydrate. And it would probably be beneficial if I had an intention set behind my workout. Like
and maybe fuel myself with good nutrients and minerals.
Like, this is becoming a hassle. I just want to work out.
And these are the small steps, right? Like they all correlate into the bigger picture. It's all part of the...
And by the time you're eating better and stretching after and getting rested and hydrated, you're no longer exercising for that six-pack to go to that bitch's party. It's like you've actually attained a new level of human awareness. Like, oh, okay, I was just working out to be sexy, but I actually feel better, and I'm sleeping better, and I'm
more balanced.
Yeah, more authentic and present to myself.
I'm actually walking upright, and my posture's better, and the energy's flowing better.
Yeah, and these things you wouldn't even know to look for.
No.
But that's kind of the beauty of the path is you start walking for one reason, then you learn a little bit, and you correct, and you assimilate, and you grow, and all of a sudden you're on an entirely different trajectory than you thought. It's like, well, that was the initial goal I had was completely animalistic based. Concupiscence, irrational passions, that was the best solution I could come with, working with the information that I had and the tools that I had. But as I've learned more and gained more tools, I realized that wasn't going to lead to happiness or anywhere healthy. And now I can shift and adjust and incorporate and advance and move and evolve and progress, and
that's the power of the gateways too, right? Like where one class of yoga can change your life completely, whether it's just changing a little bit of your perspective,
right,
or your intention,
right. And you can't know the profoundness of something when it hits you. Like that little 1% change may not even registered on your radar. Like, oh, I'm going to just keep doing this now. Or I'm just going to do this instead. It's like you don't see the domino effects of like, yeah, that was a huge ripple that really was beneficial. But at the moment, it didn't amount to much to me. I couldn't have known the impact it was going to have on my sleep, on my fill in the blank. I wasn't thinking of that. I wasn't doing it for that reason. But because everything feeds into everything, taking off this beaver dam really allowed more flow to the... you've heard the story about the wolves in the Yellowstone?
Yes.
Yeah, they changed the direction of the rivers.
Isn't that fascinating? Incorporating a pack of wolves.
I know.
It's so powerful.
Holy God! Like, what am I doing? What rivers am I shaping right now?
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild.
So wild. That's good. How do we find that? Is that something on the internet? Or...
Yeah, I'm sure with my...
It was they just... introduced a pack of wolves or something?
That was in captivity. They reintroduced them to the park to repopulate the wolves because they had been down. And it changed the amount of deer, which changed the amount of grass, which changed the amount of birds, blah, blah, blah. Like, it just... Everything on nature is dependent and in a balance with everything else. And
equilibrium.
In that functioning, which is cool because we're also part of that equilibrium. We
Absolutely.
Like to think like there's nature and then there's us observing it. It's like, no, you're in it. And if you're pretending you're not in it well. You're not in it right, and you're an obstacle rather than an accessory to the flow. You're not functioning as you could be in this dynamic balance and interplay of balance in life. But luckily we have the ability to change and grow. And that's super fascinating. It's way fascinating. Yeah. It's enough to think on for a lifetime. Is just how everything feeds into everything, affects everything else. Like, you wouldn't think mice have anything to do with whales, but they do. It's probably only 5 steps from Kevin Bacon. It's weird how close and related it all is.
Just like this podcast.
Right.
Who knows who it's going to reach?
You don't know.
Who's going to... Right? It's like, who's going to hear it?
Set the good intention. You're like, hey, I would like to do something good. I'd like to contribute meaningfully and impactfully towards the good. I understand and I accept and I acknowledge that I don't know what the world needs. And there's this hubris of, I want to leave the world a better place than when I found it. It's like, fuck you. Who are you to think that you can judge the world for bad and good and right and indifferent and like, oh, I see the world. I know it's good. I know it's right. And I know it's wrong. And I'm going to fix that and leave it better. It's like, if you really want to contribute, love the world as it is. Accept it as it is today, as perfection. Climate, politics, race, everything is exactly as it needs to be today. And when you can get to that place where nothing needs to be fixed, nothing needs to be changed or judged, and it can all be appreciated, valued, and enjoyed for what it is, then you're going to contribute more meaningfully and impactfully and profoundly than all of your best efforts to fight the tides and change the currents. Like,
I like that.
Well, I think that comes from a place of pride of like, no, I need to mean something. I need to put my mark on it. It's like, you can, but the mark you're trying to put on isn't the mark that you were designed to do. You're a swallow trying to be a woodpecker. Like, stop poking holes. You're hurting yourself. It's not even the right tree. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just accept your place, your role, which is also a lot of work. Not all of us are as important as we'd like to be, or as smart as we want to be, or have as much to contribute as we want. Like,
well, I think it was the sad guru too who actually said that. Like, we're all trying to be special,
right?
And
we want to matter, and
unfortunately, you start looking down on things and people, and you start thinking you might even be a little bit better.
Sure.
And you're feeding the ego, really, as opposed to
this whole lie.
Yeah, as opposed to just accepting and surrendering to the thoughts of.
And when you study nature and you see squirrels burying all these acorns that they never go back to find, you realize, oh, they're inadvertently planting a forest. Do they realize they're planting trees? Do they have the comprehension and awareness of that they're contributing to the forest at large? No. In their mind, they're like, where the fuck did I bury that nut? Damn, I suck. Why can't I do this? They're functioning in the balance, whether it's conscientious or not. I don't think it is, which comforts me. It's like, oh, I'm unconscientiously and naturally and organically feeding into the balance of nature. And it's sometimes my best intentions and motivations and efforts to do right and to do better that I'm actually forcing things that aren't necessarily appropriate. Whereas if I could just accept and allow and love and appreciate and be.
Just be.
It's almost like we're human beings, but we're not. We're human doings. We have to find out how to be. It's, yeah.
And I think that goes partly into the Matrix, where they're constantly pulling us from source, from nature, from our true self, authentic self.
Keeping you distracted.
Completely keeping you distracted, using you for their...
Right. Or just stopping you from being what you were intended to be.
Absolutely, yeah. Because you may awaken.
Yeah.
And you might find the truth, in the sense, and you might decide,
spark someone else to awaken. I mean...
Right. That's even more dangerous.
It's huge dangerous when you get the 100th monkey effect, where a species can almost evolve together. They level up. There was the study or this thing that was witnessed where this group of monkeys were learning how to use a stick as a tool, and once enough momentum caught on, all of a sudden monkeys in another part of the world started doing the same thing.
Ain't that something?
It was like this group mind update. So when you're sitting silently with the universe and you get these updates and these upgrades and
software download,
when you awaken to Buddha or Christ, that sends shockwaves into the entire of humanity, where now we're all closer to using that stick as a tool. We're all closer to being that awakened to source. And that's why they don't want you to wake up, is because you waking up,
you'll ascend.
You're not in a vacuum. You're in society, and that's going to
make you rebel.
It's going to rock a lot of the world that they're trying to build.
Yeah.
People going to be pulling people out of confusion and frustration and victim mentality of like, no, you're an active participant and creator, and all you really have to do is mind your energy, keep your thoughts and your words, like, just a little. It's all things you can do without having to buy or subscribe anywhere. It's free.
It's all within us. It's all in there.
It's work. It takes discipline and conviction and patience, but in the process of using patience, conviction, and all that, you build up this strength, this integrity, this power that then can't really be challenged. So you have someone coming up to you and
they're no longer in control of you.
They're not in control of you. You're not subject to their stimulus for a quick reactive, reflexive response. You actually have control over your response.
I talk a lot about that, where like manipulators, in the sense of like, if they can just trigger you, if they can activate you, then they are controlling you.
Yeah.
Which is very much an egotistical thing in the sense, even if they know it or not.
Well, they can't control themselves, so they have to control someone else. It's true mastery over other people is mastery over yourself. People fall in line and not submit or obey, but when you know your shit and you own your shit, that translates, that is conveyed without you saying, oh, by the way, I'm a master, blah, 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 blah. People can see it in your work, and they're like, oh, I want to watch what he does because I want to be a master of blah, blah, blah. But you go around saying, I'm a master of blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't equate. You don't have the money to put where your mouth was. It's like, yeah, people can see that too. People can read inauthentic. If you're not buying what you're selling, they can see that. And when you are, and you've been living your life in that, they can see that too, and that holds weight. It's like, oh, okay, he's not just believing this, he's living this. He's practicing this. He's devoted his life to this.
That's essentially my journey, really. Like, living up to everything that I've ever talked about and taking the knowledge that I've gained and actually using it for myself.
Applying it.
And really, integration.
Integration. Dude,
nailed it.
Buzzwords.
Yeah.
Intention, integration. We got to find like a couple of just the distill this down into the most potent little walkaways. Like, I love bullet points. Like, right,
yeah.
Because I need something pithy I can chew on and ruminate. It's like you get something like integration or peace. And it's like, that's a never-ending gobstopper. You just suck on that bad boy all day. And it's like, oh, the flavor changed. All right, yeah.
And that's the power of it, right? Yeah. Like, and that's why it's essential to develop somewhat of a level of this practice to or even understanding of it, so you can start applying it, and it goes back into the whole everything we've talked about, the baby steps or the little steps, and
these are things you can't learn or understand without doing the baby steps.
Yeah, like
you learn things from failure that success will never teach you.
Absolutely,
and it's necessary for true and lasting success. Like, it's one of the things I'm trying to work on and trying to embody in my own journey and practice is just the trust of the perfection. Like, I'm not in control, and it's not my job to be in control. I trust that the divine intelligence of nature that's keeping everything in balance and all functions, I'm part of that, and it's in control. I have my choices, my yeses and nos, the way I show up, what my intentions are. I've got my things I need to be responsible for, things that I contribute. But on the greater scheme of things, I am a powerless little leaf on the wind, which is wonderful because it's like, all these, there's a lot of trends within society, like, oh, politics or climate change, or here's the things you should care about, and it's none of the things I have control over. So they want us to put all of our attention, all of our effort and concern and value and worth in these things that don't concern us really, and that we have no power to influence or control, and it takes us out of the place that we have all the power and all the responsibility.
Well, it drains you.
It does drain you.
And then you don't have the energy to put into the good
You're
things.
You're too distracted and tired, and you're just looking to be numbed out or controlled at that point. And it's insidious, but at the same point in time, it's not hopeless.
Just bringing awareness to it.
Just bringing awareness to it. It's daunting when you look at the size of the enemy we're up against, but it's also funny and comforting because all of our power is inside of us. We need nothing external to win at our life, and winning at our life is contributing to the winning of all life. And it's like, they can't force you to do anything. They can distract you, and that's the best they got is distraction. And if you stay focused and you stay determined, it's like you become unstoppable. You become what they fear most, and then you start awakening them up. People see you go by, they're like, what's he doing? What's he got going on? He's got this strength and presence and silence of character that I don't recognize. And which TikToks is he watching? Like, he's not. He's sitting quietly with his eyes shut. What? Why?
What do you mean?
Is he doing something like? Is he filming it?
I like that. That's a great point to make where like we're unlocking our own true power, our true potential, and it's something far greater than any of us have ever even imagined.
It's your own divinity. It's God expressing itself as you. And there's never going to be anyone else who does that. The universe, all of nature, the thing that's designed every species of bird and plant and mountain, river, like all this perfect balance has said, okay, in this ecosystem we need a Robert. Because he's going to influence shit just the way that he can. And when you don't, God, nature, brilliance doesn't get expressed that way. You have the opportunity to shine, and shine as yourself. And we don't want to shine as ourselves. We want to shine as we want other people to see us. Like, oh, my natural hue is red. I don't like that. So I'm going to put on these filters and shine blue because I think blue's better and I want blue. It's like, red was needed for the scene. Red was needed for this scenario, this contribution. And if you don't show up as that red, that hue, that color, that expression of divinity won't get expressed. And that was your one chance. That was your role in this grand play of life, to be you, to, as Meryl Streep would say, resonate as authentically and as vibrantly as you can. You want to be yourself as powerfully as possible. Dolly Parton says, find out who you are and then do it on purpose.
Well, that is your higher self, right? Like, that's the authentic self.
It is, but it's hard to peel back all the layers of who I was taught I should be, what I think
our domestication.
Yeah.
Our conditioning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The parts of me that are evil, that I can't show.
Which cages us, which stifles us, which shuts down that natural higher power energy.
It's a huge act of rebellion to try to unlock your authentic expression.
The Matrix.
Yeah.
I can't stop going back to that because it's designed for that. And that's what pisses me off, because it's like once you see that, you almost can't unsee it. You realize, for me anyway, it's like a cage in the sense of our
cage.
Consciousness.
But it's also like, okay, so you're a seed and you've been planted, and the matrix is the dirt that's put over you. It's not evil. It has its place. You have to overcome the matrix to grow up. You have to... Plants need all things. We need a certain level of...
Conduit?
Conflict. Something against us.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This table, I wouldn't lean on it unless I knew it was going to support me. If it broke away to nothing, I wouldn't lean on it. So you need barriers. You need...
Resistance.
Resistance. That's the one.
Yeah.
I had plants in a garden, and they had all the light, all the nutrients, everything they could ever need, and they all shot up so quick, and then they all fell over because they had never experienced resistance.
Like wind,
animals walking by, bugs leaning on, some sort of noxious stimulant from life that they had to fortify themselves against in order to maintain. They didn't have the constitution to hold themselves up. They were too weak to hold themselves up just because life had met them with no resistance. So then I started going over and slapping around, being like, you're shit oregano. You get nothing. You get nothing. After that, it smelled amazing. I was like, damn oregano. Put me in my place, buddy. I understand my dad. No.
That's the importance, too, of like having resistance for the physical body as well, where it's like if you're just opening and you're not strengthening.
Our body's only as strong as the resistance and the challenges we put on it. So... if you go through your day and you're not challenging yourself at all, then it's going to be the most challenging day you had. Everything that happens to you is going to be the peak of what you're capable to do. Right. But when you go to the gym and you're like, I'm doing this, I'll never need to lift this much weight, but I'm doing it so that in the day when you're lifting things,
everything becomes easy.
Way easy, because you've already extended that. And that
just like yoga. You push yourself. You go through the suck.
It applies to every aspect of our being.
Yes.
You lean into it. You embrace the suck. And granted, sufficient of the day is the suck therein, but only if you want that to be your cap.
Sure.
It's like, yes, life will provide me with opportunities to be patient, but if I sit down and I sit quietly for 20 minutes in meditation, by the time I'm in traffic, the traffic doesn't even register. I'm not being patient at that point. I'm doing something else. Whereas if I had not meditated and practiced that patience, I'd be like, okay, all right, we're here, we're learning, we're ready. It becomes the battle. You can either battle at home and get ready for the battle where you're ready, or you can be called into it, and it's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a war.
That's one of my favorite quotes.
It's a great one. It's a great one.
And that's partly why I say, like, I built myself for war, because to protect my peace.
Yeah, dude.
At all costs.
Because you're aware of the fact that we're in a scenario or in a reality where your peace is going to be challenged and everyone's trying to take it away.
Yes.
Because when you're not at peace, you're more malleable. They can sell you shit. If you're at peace and content, you're a bad customer. That's no amount of advertising can make you feel inadequate enough to where you got to purchase something to feel better. And that's kind of the whole market is, how can we make you feel like you're not enough? And then provide you with the solution of how to be enough.
That's partly why I think like society, the Matrix, boosts and rewards egoism.
The iPhone, every eye temple, as I have one friend call it. Yeah, the cult of I.
It makes you malleable. It makes you controllable.
It makes you small. Instead of growing and expanding, you're continuously shrinking. And it's not like you're going in to, you're not investing inwards to be able to grow outwards. You're investing outwards and you're diminishing. All your validation, all your things comes from other people. Like, oh, I didn't get enough likes on that picture. I'm not worthy.
Truly.
Rather than I'm sharing something I legitimately enjoyed and I don't even know who likes it. It's not why I was sharing it. I wasn't sharing it to get the likes and to get the validation. I was sharing it because I wanted to share this thing. And that translates differently. You see people posting pictures and it's like...
intention.
It's like the duck lips in the post, like, they're not comfortable. That's not their house. Like, this was entirely made for the intention of catching my eye so I can say, oh, girl, fire. It's like, that's really empty. Really.
Truly. It's scary, especially when you become that aware of these things.
Yeah.
And
you see a lot of people who aren't alive.
Yeah. It's really sad in the sense where you can even pinpoint trauma.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Like, it's like...
I'm looking at your Instagram post and I can tell you about your childhood.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
It is crazy, but at the same point in time, it's like... what am I emitting? What am I...
Yes.
Who's looking at me and noticing my childhood traumas?
Yeah.
So you kind of want to get on top of that shit and manage your shadow work before other people are like, hey, I don't know if you noticed, because we did. You may not be aware of this situation.
Oh, no. It's a scary world. It's a scary place. But yeah, having the tools to navigate it a little bit easier is
and the grace.
a game changer.
Grace is huge.
Yeah, peace, grace, unconditional love, unconditional joy.
Well, it's in practicing that with yourself and others that you perfect the work of your own divinity. I mean...
I think we just nailed the topic of the conversation, I think.
Working towards your own divinity and how to use all the shit everywhere to do it.
Yeah.
It's all ingredients. It's all ingredients. Whether you use them appropriately, like here's a stressful situation. You can either A, breathe into it, sit with it, and work on your peace. Or
what is
B,
it teaching me as
freak
opposed to...
out. Today I'm going to go with B. Unacceptable! And we sleep back into humanity and ego for a moment, and we'll try again later. And that's the grace is you can try again later. You can try again later. It's that spring of water is always flowing. Whether we splash it out, drink it, pour it, it will perpetually fill up if we just sit with it long enough and allow it to fill up. Like, even if we're trying not to let it, that's not on us.
Learn the lesson.
Right.
And then change your reaction.
The flow of life, like, we're not alive. We don't have lives. We are life. We are life living and expressing itself, whether we want to or not. And it's just, you can resist it. You can do a lot of things to kill that life. You can fill your body with poison. You can numb yourself out and become unconscious. But you're still life. Or you can allow that life. You can sponsor it. You can feed into it. You can support it. You get that.
Nurture it.
Yeah, nurture it. Nurture it with intention. What is this life for? It's not for you. Nothing in nature exists for itself. Everything serves everything else in that balance. So if you're living with life and you want to build it up and it's because you want. It's like...
kind of not living.
Exactly. Or you're not there yet. Or hopefully you realize what it is you can participate in. Or acknowledge and accept and realize what everyone else is doing for you. Like, how is this person helping me? How is this person showing up? And how in my knowing of this person and my appreciation for them, what could I emulate? What can I take away from them and foster my own character? Yeah, it's cool. It's hilarious and sad how much of life is us not doing anything but being okay and accepting and chilling and relaxing, and how feverishly we're driven to fix and change and correct, and this is good, this is bad, get rid of the bad, foster the good. It's like...
So we're going about everything pretty much wrong.
Yeah, but That's the Matrix.
That's the Matrix.
The seed covered in dirt.
Yeah.
You have to die to what you thought life was, and you have to work through all the rocks and the dirt and finding that light, seeking that light. And heads up, once you break through that veil, once you exit the Matrix, then there's cows and wind and rain. It's not like life stops. It's your challenges then become exponential, yeah. But hopefully by then you've rooted yourself enough into the Matrix, into the matter, into yourself and your own life force, where you're able to grow and meet those adversities and grow stronger from them. Humans are designed to have post-traumatic growth. There's post-traumatic stress and post-traumatic growth. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. When a bone breaks, in the place it heals, it's stronger and thicker. Like, that's how we're intended and designed to grow and proceed.
Grow in pains.
Yeah.
It's not.
But we've got this myopic view of like, oh, trauma. Like, that's now a blockage. I can't go there. I can't progress faster or further from there because that's my injury wound. It's like, well, that's also the spot where you understand more now. And you can use that injury, that wound you have, to show more compassion to other people who you see suffering from that wound.
Unfortunately, that plays a lot into manipulation and character, where you attach yourself to that trauma and then you allow it to define you.
Yeah, you're seeking identity from...
Yeah.
Well, that's just a part of a narrative, and we all have narratives, and I've done a lot of good work with some awesome therapists about how much power you have in your narrative and how much purpose it actually has. Like, when you're telling you the story of who you are, you do have the ability and the power to create yourself and tell yourself, like, I am indomitable, I am fixed on ascension, I am here, I am doing this. But you can also limit yourself of like, oh, I've always been that way. I just had that problem. Or it's in my genetics. Or you got to be mindful of the story you're telling yourself because you do believe it.
Yeah, and it's not like these things can be all just negative in the sense, like you can take your pain and turn it into power.
Absolutely.
You can change your perspective on it, and you can use it for the growth and the greater good, and realizing, like...
I don't think there's anything that happens in your day or to you in your life that you can't alchemize.
Right.
Even the good stuff you're using for that end. Like, someone gave you a wonderful affirmation. Awesome. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to try to spread that around. Someone gave me a terrible insult. All right, well, I'm going to foster myself against that, and now I'm a little bit more in tune with people who might be feeling this way or struggle with this thing.
Or even heartbreak,
right,
in the sense
where
you can either become bitter, you can close yourself off, you can always think, like...
For sure.
Everyone's bad now, I don't trust.
I can't love again, it was too painful.
Yeah.
And you stop that trickle of flow, that water, which is the nourishing life of everything.
Right. Where you can actually use it to expand the capacity of it, saying like, oh, well, I felt that way. It's a beautiful thing, and I had the opportunity to experience all these things.
Right.
What did I learn from it? Like, and
I think sometimes we won't realize what we learned from it until after. I ask myself that a lot.
Most of the time.
What did I learn from this? And it's like, oh, pop quiz, great. I don't know.
It's tough in the moment when you're suffering. Like, it sucks. And it shuts you down. It turns on all these different endorphins and what have you.
Yeah.
Is that word?
Yeah. I think of dolphins when I hear endorphins.
But, I mean, yeah, it's fascinating, to say the least.
It is fascinating, and it's all connected. It's all part of the same interplay and exchange. And we don't always see how it is. Even if we know that it is, we can't, in our limited perspective.
No, you never know where it's going to lead.
God, no. But you can know and trust and understand that it's connected.
Yes.
And
absolutely. To the point where I accept all challenges, all tribulations, all heartbreak, all disappointment, in the sense, like, that's my practice, where I try to use it as to, what is it showing me?
Yeah.
What can I get out of this? Is my capacity building?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if we are truly emanations of the divine light, if we're divine consciousness in nature, discerning and understanding itself, divine nature, that divine consciousness is an infinite, complex interplay of organisms and exchange. The way we participate is also going to be slightly infinite, which means we're not going to be able to keep track of it all. Like,
nor can we even imagine where, as I said, where it would lead. Like, it can be beyond anything you've ever imagined.
No, if we could imagine it, would be kind of lame.
Sure.
To be able to house it, like, oh, I completely comprehend, I grok, God, it's fine. But when you accept that everything in your day, the tablecloth, the bird flower, every aspect is an ingredient necessary to feed, foster, and create that divine expression. It's like, okay, well, thank God I don't have to understand this because it's above my pay grade. But I am going to participate as best I can by not judging things as bad or wrong, and fighting the flow and accepting and trusting and maintaining peace. Like, there's a lot to do. Most of the work is internal, but it doesn't mean there's no work to be done. Like,
and it's funny how it's all the subtle things, like you said too, the surrender, the accepting, like everything that like you can't go out and buy on Amazon.
Exactly. Or you can't orchestrate a situation where you're going to learn surrender. It's like, unless you're taking rape.
Or Sananga, right? Like
that brings you to a surrender. Like, there's nothing else you can do, and you can't get out of it. So you're just going to have to suffer.
Yeah.
It's like, and there's a place for that, a very powerful place for that, because not all of us have the cojones to take a cold shower. It's like, I'm sorry, no. God put me in a time and a place where warm showers are available. Thank you, God. So I miss, good. It is good, but it's like working out. Some people will take the cold shower because they're then fortifying their own character and will to live. And I'm like, I can't.
I gotta suffer.
I'm like, I'll take traffic. I'll take whatever sufferings life gives me organically. I don't need to pursue it. But at the same point in time, when I do exercise or I do meditate, it does make it that much easier. It makes you that much stronger to where you're not at your wit's end from the day.
Or your boss.
Right.
Not at the mercy of that, where it's going to transcribe into the rest of your day
now
or week. Now
you're challenged literally more than you could handle because you didn't do any preparation for handling it.
Yeah. As I say in class, right? Like, if you don't challenge yourself, life will challenge you.
Yeah.
And it'll be at their discretion.
Exactly. And it's now a matter of life and death. You're like, if doing massage was the only physical thing I did every day, it would be back-breaking work. I'd be the hardest thing I do all day. But if I go to yoga and I exercise, like, I could do 7 massages and like, oh, I'm fine. Like, I have that capacity. I have that play, that the luxury of extra. What is that cushion? Like if
the bar's set a little bit different.
Well, you got to go out shopping and you have all your expenses of the day are going to add up to $19.95. When you go shopping, you don't want to have $19.95 only. Like, that's just risky. You want to have $30. You want to have more.
Buffer.
You want to have buffer, surplus in every aspect of your life. We exercise, we have that physical buffer. We meditate in patience, we have that buffer because life is better with a buffer and not necessarily a numbing stimulant, not coffee, not marijuana. Those look like buffers, but they're not. They're actually
coping.
Yeah, they're coping and they're weakening you from gaining the grace and the experience you could be from being bored or anxious or tired.
Or leaning into the feelings.
Yeah,
to what you're
man.
feeling.
Instead of just trying to numb out every feeling and then complaining why you don't feel anything.
And there's a level of neuroplasticity that you say, right?
Yeah.
Where you're actually developing new methods of dopamine release or endorphins.
And supposedly, when you're forcing yourself into that struggle, when you're taking that cold shower or learning that instrument and it sucks, that's the point of the most intense neuroplasticity
build.
Yeah. That's the strongest, most active stimulation you're going to get is when you're sucking at something and struggling, which makes sense. I mean, if you're playing violin and you've got it down and you're perfect, there's no real challenge. You're affirming the pathways, you're reestablishing what's already there, but you're not growing, you're not expanding, you're not whatever.
There's no resistance.
Right. So it's that life of trying to fight, struggle, and escape resistance that's like, you're never going to really be happy or formed. I mean, you could live your whole life that way, but at the end, I don't think you're going to be very impressed with what you have. And
it'll be halfway. It'll incomplete.
And I go back and forth on this because there's also the nature of flow. And it's like, you're not always going to meet all of your progress through resistance. A lot of it is surrender. A lot of it is acceptance. And you got to find that balance of, am I to resist this and overcome it? Or am I to surrender and accept and breathe life into it? And like, where's the balance of this? Because there's some things that are worth resisting. There's some things that are just, you have to resist. I mean, you got to get up and go to work. You got to contribute. You have to move in order to get the blood flowing. It's like your lymphatic system is designed with resistance in mind. Like it doesn't have a pump. There is no natural passive circulation. You got to participate. You got to meet it with force, which is fine, and I can get that. But force isn't the answer to every problem. It's like force is a great tool to have in the toolbox, but
it's not the solution to everything.
It's not the solution to everything, which is lame because I want to have a one fix all. Like,
I want to be a hammer.
I'll sprinkle peace on it. That's what I do. Peace, 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 peace. That's all I need, and I'm done.
That's good.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, sometimes you have to have conflict, and you wanna check the why. Why am I having this conflict? How am I having this conflict?
Well, another great feature too, right, is to show if you have grown and how you're going to take it as opposed to yesterday or the day before, and it gives you a good way of seeing how far you've come or leveled up or
progress. Looking back, turning around on the path, and being like, oh,
yeah. Shit. Realizing, you know what, maybe I am breaking this cycle.
Yeah. Or maybe this cycle is a part of a bigger cycle I wasn't aware of.
Absolutely. That's usually the case.
Yeah. It's
all integrated into a bigger... It's
discouraging to realize how much I don't realize. It's like, why do I bother?
The more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
It's the Dunning and Kruger effect. that slope of I don't know anything, but we're going to keep trying.
Absolutely.
We've got the goal in mind. I mean, that is humanity, is the kind of futile struggle of trying to overcome things you can't overcome. And that's just where divine essence is forged, in this futility of gonna keep trying, gonna keep falling, gonna keep trying. It's
keep getting up.
That's the God aspect. That's the God molecule, is the keep getting up. And our humanity is the falling down, and when that's used on the keep getting up to help the keep getting up to understand what it is and how it works. It's like, yeah, the challenges and the resistances may never stop coming, but it's only fostered that indomitable keep getting up, keep driving forward, keep flowing, that is the nature of all things that drives us. That's why we always have to look for another mountain to climb. That's why we have to feel like we force things. It's that keep getting up drive, but not necessarily understood or channeled or respected or fostered. It's like, we all have drive, but it doesn't mean you're driving towards the right things. I mean, you can get ego blocks and say, yeah, you get the drive to make $1 million or kill that guy. And it's like,
it's never about the destination.
Right.
It's always about the journey.
The journey and the why. The what's the intention of the journey? Why? I don't know. There's a lot to it, and I love to simplify things so I can understand them, but there's a lot that can't be simplified.
Sure.
And you get to some parts of nature that are ineffable, which is cool, because then you get that awe molecule where you're seeing something so grand, like the veil is lifted. You're like, oh shit, whoa! I'm gonna sit down for a minute.
Yeah.
I've overplayed my hand of how important I thought I was, or how much I affect things, and it's like, I'm actually a lot more...
Humiliation.
Yeah, I'm a lot more small than I thought, but in that smallness, you get to learn your actual potential. It's like, yeah, you're a squirrel planting a forest. Will you understand that? Will you see the trees that you plant? No, they're not for you.
Will you even care?
No, probably not, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was it a happy squirrel?
It's all part of the
or did
balance.
he throw himself into traffic because he just couldn't take it anymore? Yeah, it is part of the balance, and it's cool because the balance is infinite, ever growing, ever expanding. It's consciousness, it's understanding. So it's a cool, complex thing to be a part of. It's trippy because sometimes you'll get these insights of how unaware you are. You're like, I'm working on my bodies. I've got my intuition on check, and my intentions are blah 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 blah. And it's like,
my intentions are fire today.
Right, fire intentions, so pure,
so good.
And then you get an aspect just like, okay, didn't even realize that. I was completely unaware, like out of left field, and it's.
Which I love, because those are the growth moments.
I'm glad you love them, because they sometimes suck.
Usually.
It's like, I've been driving in the wrong direction for 300 miles. Awesome. That's so good to know.
But usually never in vain, right? It's never like...
when you can alchemize the 300 miles you drove in the wrong direction,
right.
sometimes there's just waste.
Yeah,
you don't
truly.
have to alchemize the pain. But it is there, and it can be used, which is wonderful and encouraging because...
Yeah, because a lot of people will look at it in the sense of like, man, I just wasted all that time. Yeah. But if you can search through the lessons...
7 years of a relationship just down the drain. It's like, well, you're not where you started before the 7 years of relationship. For better or worse, you have grown as a person.
Yeah.
And we can try to support and foster the worthwhile growth.
Or I like to talk about in the sense of, like, people who talk about work, like, they'll be like, oh, this job sucks and this and that. But if you, like, switch the perspective in the sense of, like, yeah, but that job's providing your house, your table, your food.
Right.
Providing for the family. Like, so it's all a matter of how you want to perceive the world. And
the fastest door, and I love this one, the fastest doorway out of hell is gratitude. So when you're in hell and your life isn't what you want and your job sucks and all that, it's like, find something to be grateful for and find something else to be grateful for. It shifts your energy. It shifts your perspective. And all of a sudden, like where attention goes, energy flows. Now you're flowing into what you want and the things that are good rather than spiraling and swirling in the toilet of all the shit you hate.
And they say, I believe, gratitude is the highest vibration in the sense, like even above love.
It is above love. It is not the highest. And then granted, I don't have a vibration measuring machine. I'm going off of what I saw on the socials. Right. I saw this on the socials.
I've seen it on Facebook.
On the Face Talk. Apparently authenticity is the highest vibration.
Sure, living in your most authentic self.
When you're just being yourself as truly as you can, it's bigger than gratitude, bigger than love.
I like that.
Yeah, me too.
That's good.
And it brings it back to the point of you are God expressing itself as you. You are the answer to a lot of people's prayers. You are contributing in ways that the world needs. You're burying nuts and forgetting about them, and there are going to be trees there that you don't even know you're burying a nut. You're like, oh, I'm going to save this for later or whatever. Like, I love the squirrels analogy, but there's in nature all these things of beavers building dams to make their homes. They don't know they're stopping the flow of water. They don't know downstream what that affects. They're just instinctually functioning. And we also have instinctual functions that I feel as though play a balanced role in nature. Granted, they don't all fit within society's realms and norms and dictations of like, oh no, good society is like this. We like our things to be very linear and very clean.
Well, because it pulls you from the authentic self.
Which is nature and organic and messy. And unknown. There's elements to it that we don't comprehend, and we'd rather live in a safe, sterile environment that we have all the control over because we know.
It's comfort.
Yeah, it is comfort.
It's cozy.
It's scary to be yourself. It's scary to try to live authentically.
Do that. Yeah. People will hate you for that.
They will. And sometimes with good reason.
Yeah.
It's and there for me there lays that challenge of, okay, what is authentic, organic, natural self that needs to be supported and celebrated, and what is ego and confusion and destruction that needs to be stopped, refined, redirected, polished. Like I'm having to judge when I don't want to judge. It's like, yeah, I want to be able to accept and love myself unconditionally, but at the same point in time, how am I to manage my own progress? And I guess you have these metrics of, are you at peace? Are you in flow with nature? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd love to say I have all the answers, but I don't. It's a mess out here, bro.
Yeah.
We're trying.
It's all a learning experience.
I'm just telling you what I'm doing, and that's how I keep okay. But I'm not okay. So, heads up. I think we covered all the classics.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
This is what it's like. It's like we'd be going to the hallway to grab a cup of water or go to the bathroom, and we're just like, so
hour and a half.
We both walk away like, yeah, that was good stuff.
Wow, we should have recorded that.
So diet isn't just what you eat; it's what you consume, it's what you listen to, it's what you watch, and it's so important that you have people in your life, a community, a circle where you can digest this stuff, mull it over, and express it and communicate. Like, I could have sat here for an hour and a half quietly listening to myself and trying to keep quiet, but I don't know if I would have gotten as far or as much as hashing it out with you. And
absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you for being on.
Yeah,
and
man.
The world will appreciate you, and we'll get it out there and raise that vibration.
I accept you unconditionally, world. I don't judge you, world. You're perfect as you are.
If you resonated with this, or you know anybody who would resonate with this, share it. Like our stuff, subscribe to the channel. It all helps us greatly. Until the next one, hope you have a great day. Valhalla.
Valhalla.